library.
Sun Belt Conference football on ESPN. Regular season finale in Statesboro, Georgia, and a rivalry that's been described as deeper than hate. With bowl eligibility on the line, it's the Georgia Southern Eagles hosting the Appalachian State Mountaineers on ESPN+. We thank you for joining us alongside Cole Neely and Emily Grace McWhorter. I'm Danny Wall. Final game of the season, bowl eligibility on the line against your rival. Cole, how did we get here?
Well, we got here. It all started honestly earlier this month. You look at Georgia Southern, okay, started off 5-3, proceeded to drop 3 straight games. Then you look at App State. They actually got some rhythm going. They figured things out, and they're in a position to play for a bowl game just like Georgia Southern. So that's really how we got here.
And in this matchup, we're going to see a battle between 2 6-year quarterbacks. For Appalachian State, it's Chase Bryce, and for Georgia Southern, Kyle Van Treese. What can we expect from both quarterbacks, Cole?
When we talk about both of these quarterbacks, they have a lot of senior leadership. They know exactly what it's like to play in the big moments. They've played in the big games before. Look at Van Treese, over 3,000 yards passing. Look at Bryce, 27 passing touchdowns. He leads the conference. So these two are gamers. They know what to do. They've been playing this game for a while. And honestly, this game's going to come out to who can carry their team to victory today.
Appalachian State leads this rivalry all time. The Mountaineers have won the last 2 matchups against the Eagles. But, Cole, when a rivalry like this happens, you throw records out the window, you throw stats out the window. It's all about who wants it more in these moments.
Well, Danny, there's no better feeling than being able to basically cancel your rival's Christmas, okay? That's exactly what it's going to be like. You're going to take everything away from them, be able to cut their water off. There's no better feeling to end in someone's season. It's like a playoff game today, and it's going to come down to who wants it more.
It is an electric atmosphere in Paulson Stadium. Our own Emily Grace McWhorter has more down the sidelines.
Guys, this is about the closest you can get to playoff football without it being playoff football. So this is the deal. You're either going bowling or you're not. App State and Georgia Southern are both eligible, and we are in for a good night of football. It is electric here in Paulson Stadium. We've got a good night ahead of us.
Thanks, EG. Fans are getting rowdy at the student section. Georgia Southern 5-6 on the year. Appalachian State 6-5. For those who are wondering, App State's 2 of their wins are against FCS programs, Robert Morris and the Citadel, so only one of those wins count. So the Mountaineers need a win, just like the Eagles do, to go bowling. You look at Eagles head coach Clay Helton wrapping up year 1, and he talked about what it means to be in this rivalry. He's been a part of some major rivalries over at USC, between USC and UCLA, USC and Notre Dame, but it's incredibly special with the fans telling him what this rivalry against App State means.
I mean, it's one of those games where it means more to you. For me, when I was a player, I saw it as beating the Citadel. Like, look, that meant the season to me, to just kick their butts and then just have a great season. So when you look at it, I think that the Eagles know what it takes. And look, those players talk to the head coach, and they talk to those coaches that are first year here. They told them, look, this is a big game for us.
And for Appalachian State, head coach Sean Clark wrapping up his 2nd full season. He's been a part of this rivalry as a player for App State, as an O-lineman, as an assistant coach with the program, now as a head coach. He knows how special this rivalry is as well, Cole.
I think you definitely hit it on the head right there. I mean, he's been a part of this. He's played these games. He's played against Georgia Southern, so he knows exactly what it means to him. And if you don't believe that he's going to rile up this offensive line, and honestly, that's going to be a huge component of this game is that O-line.
Coach Clark said that it's a matchup between 2 proud programs, passionate fan bases, a lot of respect for Georgia Southern, but that all goes out the window when you face each other, especially with bowl eligibility on the line. Georgia Southern will get the football first. Here's a couple of seniors playing in their final game. Chase Bryce, as we mentioned, along with Stephen Jones Jr., the defensive back, and you could say the same for a couple of Georgia Southern seniors. It is senior night, and it's also a blewout for the Eagles. It's Kyle Van Treese, Justin Ellis, Dylan Springer, a couple of seniors to name a few, Logan Langmeyer, the starting center, and Anthony Beck, the punter. The time for talking is done. We are underway in Paulson Stadium. O.J. Arnold starting from the 2. Inside across the 25. And that'll bring out the Eagles offense led by Kyle Van Treese, wearing the number 0 jersey, representing the ultimate teammate who is completely selfless and gives relentless effort. Georgia Southern looking to bounce back after a tough 23-10 loss to Marshall. Van Treese will start from the 27. On first down, it's a handoff to Arnold, rather a fake on the outside. It's Caleb Hood with the carry. This is going to be unique for the Eagles, Cole. We found out earlier tonight that the Eagles are going to be without their 2 top running backs, Jalen Green and Jalen White.
Well, Danny, it's the mentality of next man is up. So you're going to have to rely on these true freshman backs or these redshirt freshman backs to start to contribute. These are the future of this Georgia Southern program, so you got to figure out what they can do.
Pass near side to Ezra Archie. Be a first down for the Eagles. We've talked about the numerous injuries from the receiving corps, Cole, but now they have it in the running back room, so it is indeed a next man up mentality.
Well, you got to have it. I mean, this is a big game. We're talking about continuing the season. This is all that matters in this moment is just stepping up, doing your job, performing in your role. That's the only thing you can do.
Rather, Archie short, so it's 3rd and 1. Van Treese will keep, has a hole. Ball is loose, recovered by the Mountaineers. And it is App State football. DeAndre Dingle Prince, the defensive end, coming up with a big turnover on the opening drive.
That was a huge hit that he put on Van Treese. Dingle Prince is just playing, just came in and made a good hit already on Van Treese. But like we talked about earlier, this is a game where the quarterbacks are going to have to put the game on their back. Now, Van Treese has to do a better job of containing the ball. Van Treese has had turnover problems in the past. As we look at the replay here, Van Treese decides to keep it, calls his own number, and then Dingle just puts that hit on him, and then that ball comes right out. You can't have that in a game like this.
The Mountaineers will start in the Eagles' 39-yard line. We'll see Chase Bryce for the first time tonight. The handoff to Nate Noel, who spins his way out and is tackled at around the 36. The Mountaineers also without a few running backs tonight. They are without Cameron Peoples. We found that out prior to the start of this game. So as far as next man up, we're looking at Nate Noel, Datrick Harrington, and also Amani Marshall, who led the way for the Mountaineers last week on the ground.
You got a lot of talented running backs in that room. It's literally, you have a whole staple of them. It's like a bunch of horses back there. It doesn't matter who you have. There's enough talent to make up for not having Cameron Peoples in the game today.
Gain of 4 for Noel, 2nd and 6. Bryce going to take a shot downfield, overthrows his target, Caden Robinson. Had Waylon Free and Najee Thompson on the coverage.
This is going to be a game where the secondary is going to have to play very disciplined. They're going to have to be really great in their technique. Probably going to have to play a little bit out of phase, not in phase, just because of how bad that technique can be at times. These corners are going to have to be very talented.
3rd down, 6. Four receivers for Bryce. Bryce is going to keep. He gets a first down, absorbs contact, and gets inside the 25.
So you talk about it, you look at this home defense. So look, Justin Ellis, Dylan Springer, Christian Varner, and Parker Devine, they're going to have to be very, very disciplined in their game today. All right, they got to be able to get off these blocks. Because App State, they're a team where they love to run the outside zone. They love to stretch the ball out. Sometimes they'll run the dive, but they got to be disciplined. They got to get off these blocks if they want to be able to handle Chase Bryce in that potent running offense.
From the 24 on first down. Noel on the outside, leaping. That's Datrick Harrington, and puts the Mountaineers in the red zone. We talked about the running game for Appalachian State. They have a ton of options they can go with, Cole.
I think that Coach Sean Clark, the head coach for App State, he definitely made sure that he has a whole bunch of guys that can do it. And you look at the blocking right there. Guys are shooting their hats. They're getting their hats across. They're sealing off defenders, and that opens up that running lane for the runners to get free.
1st and goal from the 8. After the Eagles fumble. Harrington gets 8 up quickly. Anthony Wilson leading the charge.
And this is a game where guys are going to have to step up, and they're going to have to lower their shoulder. They're going to have to make some plays. I think tackling is going to be something that's going to be very crucial, and that's something that Georgia Southern's defense has not been great at the last few games, is tackling.
It's a gain of 2 for Harrington, the redshirt senior, also playing in his final regular season game. 2 tight ends set. Henry Pearson and Miller Gibbs in for the Mountaineers. Dump out. Gibbs gets tripped up by Canteen. They'll bring up 3rd down.
Good job by Canteen getting the tackle there. And this is App State's game plan. They love to run the football. That sets everything up. They run the football effectively. That sets up the play-action game, and that's exactly how they get the lead. You look at the replay here. Chase Bryce goes in and pulls it, but Canteen makes a really good tackle coming up, making a huge stop.
Third and goal. From the 5. Bryce to the end zone. Overthrows Gibbs.
And so you see it, Danny. You saw the play fake there. They've been running the stretch pretty well to almost perfection so far in their first series, and they did that play fake there, hoping to get the tight end open. Of course, you saw Chase Bryce just overthrew him a little bit too much on that pass, and now here you go. App State's going to have to kick a field goal.
Be a 22-yarder for the sophomore Michael Hughes. Only 5 of 7 on field goals this year. The Mountaineers strike first. After a Georgia Southern fumble, the Mountaineers go and get a field goal. How will the Eagles respond? We'll find out after the break. 10:36 to go in the first on ESPN+. App State scoring points off of Georgia Southern's turnover. It's 3-0 to start. Let's send it back down to Emily Grace McWhorter with EG's keys to the game.
Keys to today's game, Danny, in this awesome atmosphere. We'll start things off with App State. It's block out the noise, both literally and figuratively. There's a lot riding on this game, and also play to your strengths. They have a very balanced run and pass game, averaging 6.4 yards per play. For Georgia Southern on the other end, they have to keep Kyle clean, keep him upright in the pocket. That'll be huge. They allowed 2 sacks last game, and they can't have that happen this game. As well as take advantage of a packed-out Paulson. This home crowd is here to cheer on the Eagles. Back to you.
Thanks, CG. We talk about keeping Kyle clean in the pocket, but also has to make sure he can hold on to the football as Arnold gets across the 25. And we'll see how the Eagles will answer back in their second drive. Cole, what was the big thing you saw on the Eagles' first drive before the fumble?
Well, they found ways to get the ball going. They found ways to get to their playmakers who haven't really had a huge role this season on the field. They got to be creative. I think this is definitely the game where you open up the playbook, you empty out everything that you have, you leave no doubt. So I'm curious to see exactly, will Van Treese continue to kind of just hold on to the ball more often or what?
A.J. Brown in at running back for the Eagles on first down from the 27. Van Treese on play action finds Ezra Archie for a first down.
Big play to go ahead and start off the series. Saw the little RPO action, send Ezra on the slant route, hits him there, already a first down. I think this is definitely what it's going to have to come down to.
You talk about next man up. That was Archie's second catch on the season. Gets the Eagles to the 40. Van Treese throwing far side, has Jeremy Singleton, who steps outside across the 45.
And this is definitely the type of game it's going to be. Guys are going to have to step up. Everything's at stake here. This is the last time, really the last time a lot of these guys are going to be around each other. Last time they're going to play college football, maybe football and just in general. So every play matters.
A gain of 6. Empty backfield for Van Treese. Throws quickly to Hood. And Hood can't find his blocker. He's going to be short of a first down. This connection with Kyle Van Treese and Caleb Hood with a record-breaking seasons. Van Treese breaking the all-time passing yards record, passing touchdowns record. Also completions and attempts with Hood, the all-time receptions leader in a season and in a career at Georgia Southern. 3rd and 2. Van Treese throws to the middle, and it's caught by Evan Lester. And you're already seeing a couple of new faces make catches for the Eagles in this finale.
I think that's really smart by the offensive coordinator, Brian Ellis, to go ahead and get these guys going. You see they find a little hole in the coverage right there in the little hook and curls area. Go ahead, throws the ball right there. Really good job to go ahead and get that first down. This is the type of game it's going to have to be a lot of quicks, a lot of finding these little holes in this 3-4 defense. You got to be able to get your young guys going, create that confidence, and then have big plays later on.
That was Lester's 3rd catch on the year. And a flag, our first flag of the night. Send it down to our head referee, Wayne Winkler. And it's going to go on the Mountaineers.
So you're going to see it. You're going to see the nose jump. Got Karan White. Gets a little bit too anxious right there. Touches the center, and that's an easy flag. App State, they're going to have to be very disciplined. They can't give up easy penalties if they want to win this football game.
In Mountaineer territory on 1st and 5. Short gain from A.J. Brown. Just shy of a first down. So expect Brown to get a couple of carries along with O.J. Arnold. We were told Tyler Jordan might get some carries as well in the running game. A great chance to see what the future holds for the Eagles moving forward. 2nd and 1. Brown gets him out of a tackle. Taken back to the 35, but nonetheless enough for a first down. And there you see in the chippiness, see Brian Miller, the offensive lineman, and Ronald Clark, the safety for App, kind of getting into it.
Honestly, that's really good for both sides because you got to be able to have that edge in this game. You can't be quiet. You can't be meek in this game. It has to be, you have to be fired up. It has to be a controlled fired up, of course. But if you're not juiced up and ready to go, you're going to sleep, and next thing you know, you're looking at a very lopsided game.
And the 32 on first down. Throws to Singleton. Makes the catch. Tackled quickly by Stephen Jones Jr. We're expecting Jones to be one of the primary secondary members for the Mountaineers.
Let's look at it here. Jones Jr. did a great job closing the space, making the tackle on Singleton already. And you saw the chippiness already. Singleton talking to Jones Jr. Look, it has to be that kind of game. You're going to see guys talking. You're going to see them talking smack. That's the fun part of rivalry week.
Gotta love it after a gain of 5. Van Treese a perfect 6 for 6 in the first quarter. Play clock winding down. Brown up the middle. Burst of speed. Rather Arnold. Well, it is Brown putting the Eagles in the red zone.
That's a crucial run already. So look, Georgia Southern, we talked about they don't have their top 2 running backs. They're missing them. See here, the guard does a great job on the skip pull. And then Brown does a great job keeping those legs going, running through arm tackles. They're finding their run game early, and that's exactly what they do against this 3-4 defense. They got to be able to run the ball inside if they're able to do that. And that's the weakness of a 3-4, being able to run the ball on the inside.
The 9th play of this drive for the Eagles after a 14-yard gain from Brown. From the 13. Brown again. Good run. Touchdown. And the Eagles answer back.
And when you look at it, I mean, look, that was a beautiful outside zone run. Great cut on the backside. Gets a guy knocked down. And then, the offensive line did a heck of a job, all right? Sealing guys off, shooting their hats, pinning defenders back. And then you see that big running lane open up. Then Brown just hits it, and he gets going. And what a run to get that touchdown.
A.J. Brown did not have any carries prior to tonight.
Yo, man has some fresh legs on him.
4 carries for 37 yards and his first career touchdown puts the Eagles on the board. 7-3 with 5:42 to go in the first. Georgia Southern answering back.
Talk about just a great offensive play to start. Go ahead and score your first touchdown on the game. Look at the cut right there. Beautiful cut by the left tackle. Offensive line did a great job getting vertical movement on the outside zone. Caleb Kelly pinning the linebacker, and that's what the big thing about the emphasis on zone running. Being able to seal those linebackers, being able to keep them away from making those tackles. And then Brown makes a big boy, kind of just runs through a defender, lowers that shoulder just a little bit and just kind of knocks him around. Look, that's the Georgia Southern that has to show up and be competitive if they want to have a chance to just knock out App State tonight.
A.J. Brown, the redshirt junior from Grovetown, Georgia, stepping up. We talked about next man up mentality. Well, that's how you do it if you're the Eagles. Capping off a 9-play, 73-yard drive. Michael Lance boots this one downfield. Fair catch is called, so the Mountaineers will start from the 25. Now, if you're App State, how do you answer back?
Look, you're going to just have to play a little bit differently, all right? You got to play with more of an edge. They start to move the ball well. Stick with the run game. Set that up a little bit more. We saw the stretch, and I think that's something Georgia Southern's defense did a great job preparing for it. All right, cool. Now, start to run the dive a little bit more inside zone. Gash those interior defensive linemen. Force those linebackers to actually have to challenge your offensive line. They just got to play more consistent up front.
You also wonder how this atmosphere will play a factor for the Mountaineers offense led by Chase Bryce. On first down, play action. Bryce going to go deep downfield. Has a man! Inside the 20. And what a response for the Mountaineers. And Dalton Stroman, the receiver.
Well, you definitely said it, Danny. Talk about the response. You look at the play action right there. Bryce finds his receiver, got behind the coverage, and Najee Thompson has to be better in keeping guys in front of him. They can't allow these guys to get open in the backfield.
Bryce wasting no time on first down, going to throw it incomplete. But that was a 53-yard pass from Bryce to Stroman.
This play-action game is going to be something very crucial for App State to be able to beat Georgia Southern. They got to be able to fool these linebackers. The linebackers cannot afford to get sucked up in the run game. If they do that, or they get sucked up in the play-action, that's exactly what's going to screw them over. They can't have that. They got to be able to play better. They got to be able to see what's going on.
From the 22 on second down. Handoff to Noel. And Noel gets stuck at the line of scrimmage. Anthony Wilson leading the way again.
That's a good job stepping up, making the tackle. That's exactly what Georgia Southern has not been able to do all season. You can see the difference in the little bit of more fire that this defense has compared to what they had last week against Marshall, the week before that against Louisiana, and weeks before that. They're fired up. You can tell this game means a lot to these seniors.
3rd and 8. App State in the red zone. Bryce, pressure, gets out of it. Taken down across the 20. Flag on the play.
Got a chop block.
On the Mountaineers O-lineman. So that's going to send App State back and redo 3rd down to get a look at Eagles defensive coordinator Will Harris. He's been a part of some big rivalries. Part of the Apple Cup in Washington last season against Washington State. Also played at USC. So part of those Notre Dame and UCLA rivalries. So rather 4th down. There's going to be a 37-yarder for Michael Hughes. Straight down the middle. And Hughes 2 for 2. 4:06 to go in the first. Eagles still up 7-6. App State, Georgia Southern, a rivalry described as deeper than hate, but also a rivalry that dates back when both teams were in the SoCon before making the jump to the Sun Belt and FBS in 2014. And since joining the FBS and the Sun Belt, Cole, App State has had more success in the latter years compared to the Eagles.
Well, kudos to App State and the coaching staff that's been there over time. I mean, they know what it's like to have winning football. Georgia Southern does too, but App State's done a better job at getting the right players in, getting things going, and then building a team that has a lot of chemistry, that has a winning culture.
Both teams winning a Sun Belt Conference championship. The Eagles did it in 2014. And since becoming bowl eligible in 2015, App State has reached the bowl game in every year. So we saw how the Eagles answered back after their first turnover on their opening drive. And Kyle Van Treese, outside of that fumble, a perfect 6 of 6 to start.
So far, a great start by Van Treese, finding these guys in these little quick routes, getting them, finding the open routes. See a lot of that hook and curl, tight ends finding ways to make plays and a little bit of RPO game.
From the 25 on first down. Hand off to A.J. Brown again. Got back to the line of scrimmage. When it comes to this running back game, Cole, do you stick with the hot hand when you have a lot of youth here?
I think so, honestly. I mean, you want to be able to, guys that are already kind of getting the feel and for the game and how the momentum is shifting towards them, you keep those guys in, let them keep kind of bruising these linebackers around, and then as soon as they start to make those adjustments, throw the ball over their head. That's the perfect adjustment to when those linebackers start to step up and make plays.
You mentioned linebackers for App State. We found out Jalen McLeod out for this game. Van Treese to pass on second down, far side for Singleton. Couldn't hang on to it.
Really good on the coverage right there. Defensive back played in phase with Singleton, stayed with him, and was able to make a play on the ball. Talk about Nick Ross just making a play. See, if not Nick Ross, Stephen Jones Jr. Got to be able to play against these juniors, all right?
Stephen Jones had 6 pass breakups in the win against Old Dominion and leads the Sun Belt Conference in total pass breakups, tied for 3rd in all of college football. 3rd and 10. Van Treese across the middle. Incomplete, was looking for Archie. What do you make of the Mountaineers defense on this 3 and out?
Did exactly what they need to do. Make a stop. Give your offense a chance to continue to have some success. You saw the big play they had on their previous series. They got to be able to keep stringing those plays long, having those play actions, getting those linebackers to step up on the run, and then that way when you start to go that play action game, you sell it as well as you have been, then you just throw it over their heads and find that little weakness in the coverage. It seems like the post route is going to be how they're going to be able to do that.
Anthony Beck deep to punt for the Eagles. Tyler Page back to receive. Fair catch called at the 39. So after starting 6 for 6, Kyle Van Treese with back-to-back incompletions on that drive. And after seeing the first punt of the night, we'll see how the Mountaineers answer back. For App State, 2 field goals in 2 drives. And Chase Bryce just 2 for 5, but starting to find his rhythm with that deep shot he had to Dalton Stroman.
Yeah, and like I told you, like I mentioned a lot so far, is talking about the run game. That's what's going to help Chase Bryce out. Best friend to a quarterback is a very good run game. So these offensive linemen, they're going to have to play a little bit more consistent to help Chase Bryce out.
Rather starting from the 40 on first down. And there's Amani Marshall, on the run. He was the big running back for the Mountaineers last week. 19 carries, 137 yards, and a touchdown.
I'm telling you, they got a lot of running backs back there that are extremely talented. and they can do what they please. As long as that offensive line, they got to be consistent. We talked to Coach Clark. He said that was one thing that he wanted to see more from his offensive line. They had to be more consistent, make a way instead of letting the way make them.
On second down, quick fire on the outside for Robinson. Has blockers across midfield. Taken down near the 35.
Good play call there. Get guys out there, open in space. Find ways to make plays happen. You see Chase Bryce doing it all. Good play action fake. Gets the ball out on the wide receiver screen. One missed tackle, and then next thing you know, you're looking up. It's already a first down.
Already seeing a balance of run and pass plays from the Mountaineers. Coach Clark prides this team on having a balanced offense. And the Eagles 36, first down run. Once again, the Marshall.
Really good run. Saw the stretch. Really good movement up front, too. Saw defensive linemen pushed back in the second level where the linebackers are at. That's very crucial to what App State's offensive line, they got to be better at. They got to control the momentum of the game, especially with the run game. Those are the key elements that matter in this game. If they want to be successful, they have to run the ball with efficiency.
That was the Mountaineers' 8th run. The play selection split up. Bryce going to pass on 2nd and 6 near side. Caught inside the 20. Deshaun Davis with his first reception on the night puts the Mountaineers in the red zone.
Really good play by Chase Bryce. You saw Davis putting the little hand down saying those guys are too small to stay with him. And look at that, just wide open. Wins the route against Canteen.
Davis leading the Mountaineers in receptions. That was his 37th on the year. First down from the 17. Davis in motion. Handoff to Marshall, and Marshall stopped in his tracks.
Good job by that defense stepping in, swallowing up the run right there. Good first down stop.
Justin Ellis on the tackle. Ellis, one of the many seniors for the Eagles, playing in his final game in Paulson Stadium, along with Dylan Springer. We're both honored prior to the start of this game. This is senior night for the Eagles, also a blue out. Only a gain of 1 from Marshall. Bryce looking for options, gonna scramble out. Works his way in, taken down near the 5.
Really good by Chase Bryce, finding a way, extending plays when there's nothing open, finds a way, sticks his foot in the ground. You saw Darrell Farrar, not Darrell DeFar. You saw Georgia Southern defensive lineman slip up. But Chase Bryce is just making ways and making things happen.
That ends the first quarter. Eagles leading 7-6, but the Mountaineers will have the ball at the 16 when we come back on ESPN+. That run from Chase Bryce started at the 16, gain of 9, putting the Mountaineers at the 7. As you look at the profile, and Mountaineers head coach Sean Clark, as we mentioned, played in this rivalry as a player at App State, as an O-lineman, also as an assistant coach, now as a head coach. A lot of respect between these two fan bases, but it's all about survival of the fittest at this point. And Clay Helton for Georgia Southern wrapping up year 1 with the Eagles, trying to send this team to a bowl game. First and goal from the 7. Inside the 5. Monty Marshall on the carry. Tackled at the end by Marquez Watson-Trent.
So again, you see that stretch run, saw the zone run, opened up a little bit. Linebackers came in and crashed down on it. Again, I know Coach Clark takes a lot of pride in having offensive linemen that are really fundamental in their blocking assignments. And again, I know I've said it, I'm going to keep hammering it in, but they got to be great up front to score and to win this game.
Second and goal from the 3. Up the middle. Is he in? No. Marshall short of the goal line. Great job by Parker Devine for the Eagles up front. Hurry up offense. Quarterback keep. Bryce. Did he get it? Mountaineer players think so. The Eagles think they got to stop. And it's going to be short. Fourth and goal from the 1. Cole, do you go for it?
Hey, look, you're playing to extend your season. 100% you go for it here. I think that quarterback sneak, yes, they didn't score the touchdown, but I think they can still run it again. Just got to have a little bit more push up front. That offensive line, they got to move those defenders.
This is more so 4th and inches. Bryce throws. Robinson. No! Fell short. What a stop for this Eagles defense.
Huge stop by the Eagles defense. Pins Georgia Southern's offense down, kind of really tight to their own end zone. But when you look at the replay here, not a huge fan of the play call here. I don't think you throw the ball in this situation. I think you still stay with that quarterback sneak. Trust your offensive line to make a play. But still, you talk about Derek Canteen coming in and making tackles. I think that's essential to what has to happen. This defense, they got to play better when making these tackles, and so far they're doing a solid job of that.
The wrong hand was in the end zone for Robinson. So the Eagles will start all the way at the 1. Van Tree's going to throw, finds Singleton, couldn't hang on. So that's the good thing and the bad thing of making a big 4th down stop if you're the Eagles. You prevent a touchdown, but now the Eagles have to go the entire length of the field here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even if you don't win on this series, and that means just getting the first downs, but just still getting the ball at least past those 5 yards close to your end zone, I think that's a huge win, and be able to punt it. But, yeah, that'll be short field for App State, but it's only 2nd and 10, so anything can still happen.
Van Treese on 2nd down, handoff to Brown. He's going to get a couple of yards. More chippiness. Singleton and Dexter Lawson Jr. getting tangled up. And rather, that was Tyler Jordan on the carry. So the first time we've seen Jordan tonight. Gets a gain of 3. 3rd and 7 from the 4. Quick throw far side is caught to Archie, but was down. That's going to bring out the punt team. But like you said, Cole, just being able to get that turnover is a big win for the Eagles.
Yeah, it's a big win for that defense. I mean, they've struggled a lot throughout this season, especially those last 3 games that they've had. To get that stop right there in the red zone, it's huge. And then offensively, for you just to get away from your end zone, at least get it up to almost the 10-yard line and give your punter a chance to at least put the ball close to the 50-yard line or pass it. I think that's a huge win for that offense.
This is a deep punt for Anthony Beck. Going to put Page back at the 35. And Page tackled hard. Justin Myers and Reed Dedman. Mountaineers get the football after the break on ESPN+. Couple of App State fans making the 5+ hour trip from Boone, North Carolina to Statesboro, Georgia. A lot of App State fans. They travel really well when it comes to a rivalry against Georgia Southern, Cole.
That's what you got to have in a loyal fan base, and you can see that with the Mountaineers here. Kudos to them and shout out to them for making this trip to come down to this football game. It just means a lot more when you hate your rival, right?
Well, shout out to the Georgia Southern fans. They packed Paulson out after Thanksgiving. A lot of the students making their way back into town. You had Cole Swindell on Twitter trying to bring out as many fans as they could. He's in attendance as well, as the Mountaineers will start from their 40. Bryce on 1st down, rolling right on play action. Gonna keep. Good block. And Bryce absorbing contact, getting the midfield. Our own Emily Grace McWhorter has more about Appalachian State.
A little bit of a different mood here on the App State sideline than the Georgia Southern, but don't get me wrong, this group of athletes, they're still trying to encourage each other, but there seems to be a little bit of a sour taste in their mouths, a little extra chippiness on this side of the field than compared to Georgia Southern. Back to you.
Thanks, EG. Bryce got a gain of 9 on the quarterback keep. Second and short. Hand off to Nate Noel. Noel following his blockers. Gets to the 30, and there he goes. Noel, touchdown Mountaineers. And just like that, the Mountaineers back up.
A really good run. Saw the center get out there in space. Troy Everett making the way, paving the way for Noel to find the lane. Really good block outside there in space, and then Noel just does the rest. I mean, again, we talk about these talented running backs, and they are just everywhere, all right? They can play really well in the run game, and that's something they're going to have to lean on if they want to take the top off of this Georgia Southern defense.
4th rushing touchdown on the year for Noel after the Mountaineers, with 2 field goals, get their first touchdown on the night. And all it took was 2 plays for App State and 46 seconds off the clock to go 60 yards, capped off with a 51-yard run by Nate Noel. Followed with his own line, doing a great job with the blockers, and then the stiff arm. Get off me, says Noel. Goes to the end zone for a Mountaineer touchdown.
Well, EG said it perfectly, Danny. Talking about play to your strengths. Look at this right here. Everything collapses inside. You see the whole defense there. Follows the center. Tony Everett, the redshirt freshman, he's out there in space. I'm not going to look, Danny. I'm going to tell you this. When I was playing, I was nowhere near as athletic as Everett looked out there in space. I'm about as slow as a log. So watching Everett get his big body out there and make a really good block on the defensive back, and then just watching Nate Noel just not take an L out there, puts his hand all in the Georgia Southern's defender's face and stiffs arm him and gets into the end zone. I mean, that's beautiful.
Puts the Mountaineers back up 13-7. Well, Cole, you know what you love to talk about. You know where Noel's from, right? From Miami, Florida.
Hey,
from Florida boy with a big run.
On Florida boys, look, those are some dangerous boys when it comes to playing football.
We'll see how Georgia Southern will respond. The Eagles will start from the 25. And you're just seeing more of that balanced attack for App State compared for Georgia Southern. Vantry, 7 of 10, a total of 8 carries on the ground for the run game. Haven't really seen any deep shots yet from the Eagles. Quick pass out to Brown. And Brown is trying to make some mid-miss, but gets stopped by Dexter Lawson.
Picking up their tempo too. They already know they're going to check out too, and then the next play, see what they got called.
After a loss of 3, Van Treese throws across the middle, and it's caught. No, incomplete. Singleton couldn't hang on to it. That's the second time we've seen that.
So they try to use Brown in that jet motion action. Try to get Singleton out there to kind of hit him for a quick pass, but again, Singleton just doesn't get his hands on it, or he gets his hands on it, but just drops it. And I don't know how many times I preach to you about wide receivers. They got to make a catch if the ball hits them in their hands. It's just unacceptable not to catch the ball.
The Eagles 1 for 4 on 3rd downs. 3rd and long. Pressure coming. Van Treese throwing across the middle. Caught. Archie makes the catch at the 45. And that's one deep pass we've seen tonight from the Eagles.
Right now, Archie's looking like the guy to throw the ball to. So Van Treese is definitely going to have a hot target for the rest of this game. I think it's going to be Archie. So I feel like this Georgia Southern offense, they want to target these DBs. They want to target and get them in those man coverages. They want the receivers to find ways to beat them on those routes.
So right on cue, Van Treese finds Archie for 23 yards. 1st and 10 from the Eagles' 45. Play action. Van Treese going to take a shot deep to the end zone. No. Was looking for the freshman Joshua Thompson.
I think if Van Treese would have just had a little bit more time, I think he would have saw Singleton was actually open and around about the middle of the field, around about that 50-yard line. He could probably hit that and then maybe had a 2nd and 5 right there. But still, you can see now they're ready to take those shots. They're trying to open it up, use that momentum that they're getting, and be able to have some big explosive plays.
You saw the Eagles offensive coordinator Brian Ellis taking some more shots downfield. Empty backfield for Van Treese on 2nd down. Quick fire, broken up. Was looking for Archie again. And that time, Kyle Arnholt, the linebacker there in the coverage. They bring up 3rd and 10. And 9.5 to play in the first half. Van Treese throwing deep for Singleton, makes the catch, and a flag at the end.
Most likely going to be pass interference, but heck of a catch right there by Singleton. That's how you make up for that drop that you had.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 19. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Face mask from Ethan Johnson.
So you see the play action fade. I didn't think that the defender got his head turned around, and he didn't, but still, see the face mask happen. Really good call by the officials right there, but man, finding guys open, receivers winning their one-on-ones, you couldn't ask for a better performance when you have that when you're throwing the ball, and Singleton makes a catch.
So that puts the Eagles in the red zone. From the 11. Van Treese throwing to Singleton again, gets inside the 5. So quick throw, going to bring up 2nd and 2 from the 4. Handoff, nowhere to go. Did he get in? No. Tyler Jordan just short.
Still, though, I like the patience that Jordan had on that run. Saw that where he was going, and there was nowhere for him to run. Let the blocking continue to develop, and then he sticks his foot in the ground.
Well, the officials are going to review Caleb Hood, Jeremy Singleton, even Kyle Van Treese thinking it's a touchdown for Jordan. From that angle, Cole, what do you think?
From this angle, I'm not going to lie. That's kind of hard to see right there. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it's too hard to overturn. There's just too much going on. I think it's going to be short, maybe a yard, maybe a few inches. But look, this is the perfect opportunity now for Georgia Southern to figure out what they want to do here. I think they should go quarterback sneak. Rely on your bigs. This is going to be a game where the offensive line, they got to be great up front for both sides. That offensive line gets enough push, Georgia Southern could take a lead here or at least tie up the game. So I'm thinking it's going to be short.
After video review, the ruling on the field stands. 1st and goal.
So Jordan was short. However, he did get a first down. It's going to be 1st and goal from the 1.
Still not a bad situation. Hope you don't see any Pete Carroll action happen where you decide to throw it when you're on the 1-yard line. I think you rely on those running backs. You tell your offensive line, look, I need you to go make a block, shoot your hats, get your hands loaded up, and punch somebody in the chest. And you tell your running back, look, just throw your head until my back can get into the end zone.
Jordan will stay in at running back for the Eagles. Jordan, touchdown. Another first. Tyler Jordan, the redshirt junior, with his first career touchdown with the Eagles.
And it's definitely going to be a game where you see a lot of guys who may have not got a lot of burn all season. They're fresh. They've seen the mistakes. Some of the guys that have been playing they made. They know what to do. They know how to play in these scenarios. And you see some guys that may have had some age to them. They're starting to contribute in this last game. That's the most vital game so far in this season.
PAT is good from Alex Rayner, caps off a 9-play, 75-yard drive. Georgia Southern leading 14-13. 8:08 to play in the second quarter. It's a battle in Statesboro.
So you talk about having a really good play to score a touchdown right here. You get two defensive linemen in to make some really good kick-out blocks, and then you get your running back in the end zone. Love seeing defensive linemen play the role of offensive linemen.
So great job up front by the Eagles, and as we mentioned, bowl eligibility on the line. App State trying to seek their 8th straight bowl game. Georgia Southern trying to get their 5th in program history. And what a turnaround it would be for the Eagles. Last season, 3-9. And then in 1 year, Clay Helton comes in as head coach, brings in quarterback Kyle Van Treese, and a record-breaking year for him. It will be a great way to top it off with a win against your rival in App State.
The only thing about that, Danny, we got to keep in mind, App State, that's a group that they don't flinch. They know how to keep fighting. Talk about some of the other games. They've been down, and they found ways to come back and win in those games. I mean, this is a very dangerous team once they get going.
It has been back and forth so far, and we're just in the second quarter, partner.
And look, hopefully it's a shootout. That just makes it more exciting, to be honest with you. I'm excited for both of these teams.
Mountaineers will start from the 25. Handoff on the far side. It's Harrington. Gets across the 30. Harrington's third carry. The runs have been split evenly up with the Mountaineer running backs. Dylan Springer making a tackle for Georgia Southern.
You're extremely right about that. And then we also look at the way they're running the football. It's been a lot of stretch. We talked to Coach Clark, and he said it too. Our main things we like to do is just inside run and outside run. Those are our two run plays that we love doing. Of course, we have our own nuances off of that, but that's our identity.
2nd and 5. Some trickery. Quick throw to Noel. And Noel couldn't get around Jalen Jackson and Tyler Bride. Bring up 3rd and 5, no gain. Just 1 for 4 on 3rd down tonight. From the 30, Bryce throws. Low reception by Christian Horn. That's his first catch of the night. And a 1st down for the Mountaineers.
Good job by the offense, finding the soft spot in that zone. Hit Horn right there. Looks like he was probably running maybe a corner route. Finds him there, hits him in stride. Again, finding that soft spot in that zone, you got to be able to exploit this defense. A 4-2-5 defense, you got to find ways to exploit where the open zones are at, get these receivers moving, and make those big plays to keep the chains moving.
On 1st down, Harrington gets across the 45. How does this help for the Mountaineers having different running backs you can go to?
Well, one, I mean, it keeps your running back's legs somewhat fresh. You know, you have a lot of bodies, a lot of guys that can have their own special abilities when it comes to toning the rock. And so far, watching this outside zone, watching the stretch happen, this offensive line, they've been picking their play up as the game's been going on. Literally, Georgia Southern's defensive line was probably pushed back 5 yards into the laps of the linebackers. I'm surprised it wasn't a bigger game, but still 5 yards on the stretch is incredible.
Bryce rolling right, plenty of time. He's going to keep and tiptoe his way to try to get a 1st down before going out. The question is, did he get it? Referees are saying yes, he did. Another 1st down for the Mountaineers.
So one thing I want to say that was pretty interesting, watching Dylan Springer out there in coverage, trying to cover out there in the flats, and then seeing Chase Bryce decide to stick his foot in the ground. Big man tried to make a tackle on him, but got a little bit shook out his cleats for a second, excuse me, and then gets out of bounds. So really good job by Chase Bryce.
In Eagles territory from the 49, approaching 5 minutes to go in the quarter. Bryce throws across the middle, near side rather, incomplete. Canteen breaking it up at the last second. Pass was intended for Davis.
Good job by Canteen. Not giving up on the play. So you see Canteen out of phase right here. Comes back in there. Really, Davis has to do a better job securing the ball. He wasn't going to catch it in the first place. Looks like it just hit him right in the hands. I don't know if he closed his eyes, but he got to make that catch again. One of those moments, ball hits your hands as a receiver. You got to lock it in and catch it.
2nd and 10, Bryce 7 for 11, 101 yards. Hand off to Harrington. Squeezes his way through. Short of a first down. Tackled by Anthony Wilson.
And it's been methodical, just play by play. Georgia Southern so far does not have an answer to this outside zone. They need to get these linebackers to start just kind of shooting those gaps. I know they're worried about the play action pass being a factor, but you got to be able to play fast and get a feel for when these offensive linemen, you know, they can't go far downfield if it's a pass.
3rd and 3. Quick toss to Harrington. And Harrington breaks his way through. Flags everywhere. It's going to be enough for a first down, but let's see if the flag is going to be on the Eagles or the Mountaineers.
Personal foul, illegal block below the waist, defense number 12. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Anthony Wilson with an illegal block. Defensive coordinator Will Harris can't believe it.
You don't typically see that a lot for defensive players to get a block below the waist.
Saw it at the end there, bottom of your screen. Wilson with the block on Isaiah Helms, the old lineman for App State. That pushes the Mountaineers 15 yards after the run in the red zone. 1st and 10 from the 20. A 1-point game with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Bryce throws far side, caught. And Robinson, forward progress, may give him a first down. They're going to mark it short instead. Tackled at the end by Waylon Free.
Great job by Caden Robinson making a catch out there, getting him a little bit closer to the end zone. Great spin on the ball. Way to make that catch, and it was contested a little bit. Canteen comes in, tries to get his arm over to create an incompletion, but great focus by Robinson to put them in a good manageable spot for 2nd and short.
8-yard pass from Chase Bryce. 2nd and 2. Noel breaks through. Touchdown App State. Second touchdown on the night puts the Mountaineers back up.
And they went right back to their bread and butter. What's been working for them all game so far. Outside zone, the stretch. Really good blocking on that left side. Just opened up a running lane. And then next thing you know, Noel is off to the races. I'll tell you one thing, Danny. Watching offensive linemen block for like inside zone or just zone blocking schemes in general, it's like poetry. It's just so beautiful watching just big men move, other big men around, and have a lane to run and score touchdowns.
10-play drive for the Mountaineers, capped off with a 12-yard run from Nate Noel, his second touchdown on the night. Eagles look to respond with 3:10 to go in the second quarter on ESPN+.
So you talk about really good blocking schemes. So you see Everett shoot his head a 3 technique, really good push on the defensive lineman, and then Nate Noel does all the work. Again, zone blocking schemes are so crucial. No penetration, really good with the fundamentals, shooting that head across and just keeping those feet moving. Look, Coach Clark is doing a great job coaching these guys up.
Well, he is a former O-lineman. He nicknamed the O-lineman the Bulls, but he was very honest with us. He said that, the O-line just hasn't been able to find their way throughout this season. They've been on and off. You said he played average this year, but he has a lot of high standards for the O-line, and so far I've seen the O-line step up for Nate Noel.
When you're an offensive line coach, you got to have high standards for your group. And obviously, they haven't been as consistent as they probably should have been all season, but still, they've been running outside zone really well to almost perfectly so far this game. And curious to see what Georgia Southern's going to dial up to be able to stop that outside zone from happening.
The Eagles will start from the 25. There's 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go, so plenty of time for Van Treese to go downfield. See his first half numbers, 11 for 17, 101 yards. First down run to A.J. Brown, and Brown gets stopped. Ran right into Tyler Bird, the linebacker for the Mountaineers. Couldn't get outside the block.
Saw Pishon Wembley didn't get enough movement on his block, and so that messed up Brown's path. And then next thing you know, he's stopping his feet, and that just invites App State's defenders to come in and make a play.
Only a loss of 1, but that's really the first time we've seen the Mountaineers defense break up one of the running plays for the Eagles. Quick throw, Singleton in traffic. That one zipped in by Van Treese, going to bring up 3rd and short.
See the RPO action. They look like they're trying to run that same play again, but instead of just handing it off to the running back, decide to pull it and throws that slant route. Really good job by Singleton to catch that in traffic, and then great on Van Treese for delivering that ball.
3rd and 2. Van Treese going to keep, gets a first down. And more importantly, Cole hangs on to the football, because the last time Van Treese ran, it was in the opening drive we saw a fumble.
Yeah, he probably had a little Vaseline on those hands when he had the ball on that one. But look here, really good hold right there on the ball. Kind of braces for contact already, so you can tell he's already expecting it. But really good job by Van Treese, holding the ball, finding the hole, giving it him by that offensive line, and then getting the first down.
That was an 11-yard gain on the quarterback keep. First down from the 44. Inside 2 minutes. Van Treese throwing across the middle, and is caught by Hood. Put the Eagles in Mountaineer territory at the 33. That was a 23-yard pass from Van Treese to Hood. Throws again, this time on the outside is J.J. McAfee, who cuts his way in.
One thing about when you catch the ball out there in space, you got to find ways to get vertical as fast as you can. You want to get those yards, and now Southern's picking up that tempo.
Minute 15 and counting, 2nd and 4. Brown bounces out, trying to dive his way for a first down. Will he get it?
Looks like he will, and that's going to stop the clock. Georgia Southern, they don't want to spend any of those 3 timeouts right now. They want to be able to hold on to them.
There's one thing to point out, Cole. Both teams still have all 3 of their timeouts left to go in this half. And 26, and the 22, Van Treese throws, and Hood out of bounds.
It's a good job. Still, good job by App State's defense to force that ball to go out of bounds. I saw the pressure come up on Van Treese late. That left tackle, Brian Miller, has to be a little bit better blocking, because if he's not, Hansky Palan's going to get back there, and he's going to make a big play. They don't have their usual sack rushers out there today, but still, this defense is really dangerous when it comes to rushing the passer.
2nd and 10, the clock stopped at 55 seconds, now going. Far side throw from Van Treese to Hood. And more importantly, Hood stopping the clock, going out of bounds.
And to be frank with you, Danny, this isn't really a time where you want to go get a field goal. You want to get a touchdown, because App State will get the ball back, and then they'll have the ball again at the beginning of the second half.
3rd and 6 from the 18. Van Treese, plenty of time. Goes right, now zips it, incomplete. So, Cole, you talk touchdowns over field goals. With it being 4th and 6, it'll be a 35-yard try for Alex Rayner if the Eagles decide to go for it, and they will.
Well, still, I mean, looks like they're actually going to bring out that field goal unit.
Right.
But the thing about it, though, like I said, you want to get touchdowns. This is a game where you need to have touchdowns. You don't want to have to settle for field goals because you really want to have that lead going into halftime. But obviously, Georgia Southern's going to have to settle for 3 points if they do make this kick. Not going to pull a jinx here, so I'm not going to say anything about the accuracy of the kicker or anything crazy.
That was close.
Now it's a jinx, right?
35-yard field goal good by Rayner. Makes it a 3-point game with 38 seconds to go in the half. It looked like it was going to go out, but Rayner now 16 for 18 on the year.
The football guys said, oh, we almost got him to jinx it, but we slowed down. He slowed down on it. He pulled it back. We'll allow it to happen.
A lot of exciting things coming up at halftime. Our own Emily Grace McWhorter, a.k.a. the Queen, will interview Eagles Athletic Director Jared Binko, and we're going to behind-the-scenes look at some of the amazing people that helped produce these football games for Georgia Southern on ESPN+. We'll also recap the first half. 20-17, App State. And the Mountaineers get the football to start the second half too, Cole.
Yeah, so this is going to be huge. I don't know if they're going to decide just to run the clock out here and then just rally back at the beginning of the second half, or do you just decide to go ahead and take these shots? You got all 3 timeouts. I don't see why not put yourself in a position to go get a field goal and increase your lead.
Fair catch called. So there's still plenty of time for App State to possibly get an extra score before the half ends.
Right, so it's going to definitely be on Georgia Southern's defense. They got to be able to keep everything in front of them. Would not be surprised to see that quarter's defense play out, cover 4. App State's going to have to find ways to expose that defense, find the holes in that coverage and attack if they want to get the ball down the field.
Here's the important thing, Cole. App State with all 3 of their timeouts. So you can go for a deep shot, go for a big play, call a quick timeout. This could work out in the Mountaineers' favor.
Well, if you take that deep shot and then you have your receiver lined up against the defensive back and then that safety comes in and helps them out, I mean, you could stare at a turnover, but they're going to run the ball here.
Monty Marshall gets to the 30. No urgency from App.
That's how it looks like so far. They're going to probably just take this in to the second half, take the lead they have now, don't jeopardize it in any other way, and then just move on from here.
Yeah. Mountaineers will run the clock out and go into the locker room with a 20-17 lead at the half. You see the Mountaineer coaches sending the players straight to the locker room. There has been some chippiness. Well, in a rivalry, there's going to be some physicality and extra stuff here and there. So trying to save it for on the field during the plays rather than after the plays, Cole.
I'd be shocked if no one said anything. If you didn't say anything in a game like this, that tells me you're not really here to really take part in this moment. This isn't something that matters to you. You got to be able to have that chippiness. You got to chirp a little bit. That's the fun of the game.
Well, there is so much on the line. Final game of the year, bowl eligibility. Our own Emily Grace McWhorter is standing by with Eagles head coach Clay Helton.
It's a 3-point game going into the second half. What can you say about your defensive performance so far?
Well, what a great college game. I tell you what, it was a big stop early in the game with that first turnover on the plus side of the field. Really the difference in the game is those 3 points. Got to be able to stop the run just a little bit more effective, getting a little bit more 3rd and longs in those 3rd and 1 to 3s.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
What an atmosphere in Statesboro indeed against your rival with bowl eligibility on the line. 30 minutes in, App State a 20-17 lead over Georgia Southern. We'll talk first half stats and more when we come back after the break on ESPN+.
Are you standing?
We're back on ESPN+. Michael Lance for the Eagles sends that ball in the end zone, and App State will have the football at the 25. Danny Walco, Neely, Emily Grace McWhorter on hand. All of our touchdowns tonight have come from the running game, and overall, App State with the better numbers throughout the first half stats.
Well, to be honest, Dan, we expected App State to be the better team on the ground game. That's what they do really well, and it's showing. But this Georgia Southern defense, they got to figure some things out. They got to learn how to stop this outside zone from happening. They got to shoot these linebackers through these gaps to get some penetration. That may be the key.
On first down is a handoff to Nate Noel, and Noel gets to the corner. Across midfield, down the sideline, pushed out at the 25. And just like that, the Mountaineers picking up where they left off. That was Noel's 5th carry on the night. It's a big one.
Yeah, you talk about it. Noel, just a guy that knows how to hit the edge and then get vertical, and then you see the speed happen. So looks like a little bit of that, maybe counter, maybe outside zone, but still outruns Wilson. And then you can see number 5, Free, come in there to make a tackle to kind of save a touchdown from happening. But, man, this App State offense is so potent running outside the tackles.
That was a gain of 49 yards for Noel. He'll get the ball again. Following his blockers, Noel inside the 15. 6 carries with over 120 yards on the ground for Noel, the sophomore.
So right now we're seeing that trend that's happened every time a good running team has come into Paulson. These running backs start to get going. They start to find these lanes. These offensive lines, they're picking up, they're blocking, they're getting better as the game goes on. And then you see running backs starting to gash defenses, finding those holes in the coverages. 2
plays, Noel goes 60 yards all by himself, putting the Mountaineers in the red zone from the 15. Play action. Bryce going to the end zone for Robinson. Incomplete. Derek Canteen on the coverage for the Eagles.
See Bryce already talking to Robinson, telling him, look, you need to do this instead. Trying to fix up those routes, but still great job by Canteen. Played out of phase, came in, made an incompletion happen out of that. They got to be able to be great in the red zone, be able to hold App State to at least a field goal on this drive.
The Eagles defense came up strong in the first half with a big 4th and goal stop. Second down, inside handoff to Marshall, and Marshall tripped up at the 10. Monty Marshall, his 7th carry on the night. Tackled by Anthony Wilson.
So see right here, the delayed handoff right here, up the middle. You saw that there was some penetration back there, but Wilson came up, made a tackle. So it's going to be 3rd and 5. A couple things that they can do out of this. They can go with a quick pass here, where they can keep gashing Georgia Southern with their run game.
From the 10, Bryce throws to Robinson. He is short. And just like that, the Eagles defense coming out with a big 3rd down stop, Cole.
That was huge by that Eagles defense. We just talked about it. So there was a quick pass. It looked like they were going more towards that shallow crossing. They found that route, kind of found that. That's one of the weaknesses in that 4-2-5 defense when you see in the coverages. They found that shallow route, threw it to the receiver, and then almost got the first down. Huge win by that defense. Now it's all on that offense to come back in the next series and find some rhythm.
Michael Hughes with a 24-yard field goal try. He nailed 2 in the first quarter. Stays perfect. 3 for 3 on the night. So the Eagles defense of a big stop, only allowing a field goal, 23-17. Georgia Southern gets the ball when we come back. Six plays, 68-yard drive for the Mountaineers, capped off a 24-yard field goal from Michael Hughes. The Mountaineers lead 23-17. Emily Grace McWhorter got to talk with head coach Sean Clark before the second half started, E.G.
When I talked to Coach Clark, he said we haven't had to punt yet, knock on wood, but we have to be better on 3rd down conversions and honestly just take care of the ball. Short, sweet, and simple, Danny.
Short, sweet, and simple indeed, and the Mountaineers came out with 2 big runs from Nate Noel. He has 6 carries for 130 yards with 2 touchdowns on the night. Overall, the Mountaineers 229 yards on the ground. Cole, how do the Eagles stop the run game for the Mountaineers going forward?
Got to be able to start applying some more pressure. Defensive linemen, they got to get better with their hands. They got to get off these run blocks, beat these double teams, And then you got to bring these backers. They got to find ways to shoot these gaps. They got to get penetration. That's how you stop zone runs, is by getting penetration.
Well, the Eagles defense stepped up after those two big runs, only giving up a field goal on that opening drive from the Mountaineers to start the second half. Now we'll see what Kyle Van Treese can do leading the Eagles back out on offense. So far tonight, 15 for 23, 143 yards. First play, the handoff to A.J. Brown. He gets stopped, only a 1-yard gain, was tackled by Andrew Parker.
Kudos to that App State defense, just sitting in there, not letting a run get down the field and get more yardage. But that Georgia Southern offensive line, they got to be able to execute better. They got to start pushing people around if they want to start clawing their way into this game. They're only down 6, though, and it feels like it's more than that a little bit, but still, you got to find ways to call back.
2nd and 9, Van Treese going to float one deep for Singleton, caught! Singleton tripped up. And that's what's worked for the Eagles so far tonight, Coles, those deep shots from Van Treese.
Well, when you have guys like that, you got Jeremy Singleton, you got your Caleb Hudds, you can get guys open. As we look at the replay, great protection up front. Van Treese all the time in the world. And then Singleton beats his defender in coverage. And that's something that this offense has to do. They got to target these corners and find ways to beat them.
Brown on the first down run gets inside the 25. That was a 42-yard pass from Van Treese to Singleton. And it's been those deep passes from Van Treese that sets up the running game in the red zone. That's why we've seen rushing touchdowns from A.J. Brown and Tyler Jordan tonight. So a 7-yard gain for Brown. Still in at running back. Van Treese throwing near side the hood. Can't get out of the tackle inside the 20, but a first down.
That's all you got to do. You don't need to have, you're going to have huge explosive plays, but when you're right here in the red zone, you just get those 4 or 5 yard passes. It starts to add up, and next thing you know, you're looking at a first down, and that's all Georgia Southern's offense needs to keep doing. Just start chipping away, and then next thing you know, you're staring at the goal line, and you can do whatever you want.
In the red zone from the 18 on first down. Van Treese to the end zone. Touchdown! No! J.J. McAfee was out.
Really good job getting their hands up in that and probably driving McAfee a little bit closer. Using that sideline, there it is. Using the sideline as an extra defender. And that's what hurt McAfee not coming down with it. Heck of a play by Ethan Johnson.
On second down, Van Treese going near side again to McAfee. Made the catch. Brings up third down. Rain starting to fall in Statesboro. 3rd and 4 from the 12. Tyler Jordan, the carry. Gets stopped. Looks like he will be short. So in this situation, Cole, you mentioned touchdowns over field goals, but Alex Rayner's making his way out for the Eagles.
I think the Eagles, they know they need to take their points. I mean, look, you get this field goal right here. You go down 3. You gotta hope and pray that your defense can find a way to stop this run game that's starting to slowly kill them. It's kind of like having that knife slowly come towards you. They got to find ways to stop that stretch run when they get back out there.
26-yard field goal try for Alex Rayner. It's a fake. No, it's a pitch out to Rayner, and he got the first down. Wow.
Well, how about that? Georgia Southern fans, you got your option play in for the day. Beautiful play by kicker and the punter.
Anthony Beck and Alex Rayner.
When we look back, bad snap by the long snapper, fumble snap, but still, Beck out there gets his little pitch action in there, attacks his read key. Solid pitch, probably wasn't textbook perfect, but still good enough to get the first down and bring that offense back out there.
First and goal from the 7. The drive continues. Brown cuts inside, pushing his way short of the goal line. That looked like a bobbled snap as well from the Eagles, but it looked like it worked out so well.
It did way a little bit. Well, I guess the loss area has to be low, but still, bobble snap by Beck. Still recovers it just in time just to get the pitch off. And again, just finding ways to extend the series.
Well, when your season's on the line, you got to throw out every play in the playbook.
Yeah, you can't be scared to make some plays happen.
Second and goal from the 2. Jordan in at running back. Jordan bounces out. Jordan, touchdown Eagles. Second touchdown on the night for Jordan, and a big answer for Georgia Southern.
Huge answer by them, and then really good blocking up front. Jordan didn't find the initial hole he was looking for, bounced it outside, was able to outrun App State's defense and get into the end zone. Look, you got to be able to make things happen in this game, all right? The run game's starting to pick up for both teams. App State's been actually on it all game in their outside zone runs with their running backs, and now Georgia Southern's getting their run game going.
Offensive coordinator Brian Ellis said that we don't lack for talent and don't lack for effort. With Jalen White and Gerald Green out, A.J. Brown and Tyler Jordan stepping up. PAT is good by Alex Rayner, and the Eagles lead 24-23. 7:52 to play in the third quarter. More when we come back after the break. Bowl eligibility on the line on ESPN+. Tyler Jordan, 5 carries, 11 yards, but has been big for the Eagles in the red zone with 2 touchdowns tonight. Cole, what's the biggest takeaway from the Eagles' drive?
Well, one, it shows scare money don't make money, and guess what? They made money because they weren't scared. From the great words of Billy Napier, that's exactly how you go out there and play football. So when you see that drive, you see that they're not going to hold anything back. Had a little fake field goal in there, a little pitch action. You can see that Georgia Southern definitely means business, and they're going to do whatever it takes to win this football game.
That fake field goal of Anthony Beck and Alex Rayner may be the turning point in this game.
The only thing about it is you got a dangerous quarterback in Chase Bryce. We all know what he can do, how special he is, and just like that, you can steal the momentum back. And Chase Bryce is the perfect person to be able to do that.
It has been a battle back and forth. There's still 7:52 to go in the third and a whole fourth quarter to go. Number 25, Bryce. Play action. Steps in, throws across the middle, and broken up. A big hit from Waylon Free. Tyler Page shaken up.
Well, look, Waylon came down and freed Tyler Page from holding on to that football because that was just a mean hit. Boom! I'm not going to lie. That's hard to hold on to something like that. That was a mean hit. As you see, he's down right now, and I know he's shaking up. Hopefully the young man is okay. That was a hard hit.
Waylon Free, one of the 6-year seniors playing in their final regular season game. There are some players that's been with the Eagles for numerous years. Free, just his first season, a transfer from Fresno State. Page is up and walking towards the sideline. I mean, that was a big hit. And you talk about momentum shifters. Well, Waylon Free keeping the momentum on the Eagle side, Cole.
Definitely that, but good to see Page up and moving. Saw him smile a little bit when he got to the sideline. Hopefully the young man is okay and he can return to the game, but still, really, really big hit right there. That's a momentum shifter, and it shows where the momentum is at right now, and it's on Georgia Southern's side.
So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10. Bryce rolling right, dumps it out to Henry Pearson. Pearson with plenty of space, gets across the 40 in midfield. Pearson still going and down to 35. Well, that's a response if you're the Mountaineers.
That's a heck of a response, and now you're starting to take that air out of that defense. You saw the whole defense bit on that stretch fake right there, and that's what left Pearson wide open. And then when you see a guy in space, you got to make tackles. 1 missed tackle, 2 missed tackles, 3, 4, and well, the 4th one finally got him down. App State is starting to get their wheels moving.
40-yard pass. That was all Henry Pearson, the 5th-year senior from New Jersey. In Eagle territory from the 35. Harrington. Down the sideline he goes. Harrington absorbing contact inside the 5. And all up in Free's face. That one was for Page.
Look, that was a very strong run. And you can see it. Georgia Southern, they're trying to be cautious. They're looking for the play action game. They're trying to see if Chase Bryce is going to pull it and throw the ball. But still, you got to play with all cylinders. You got to be able to handle this stretch.
Flag on the play. Harrington in for a touchdown. Will it count?
That penalty is declined. Dalton plays a touchdown.
So it is a touchdown for the Mountaineers.
I'll tell you one thing, boy. App State had some juice after that hit that put Page out, and they did not slow down. I mean, literally, had the big play off the play action fake off that stretch, hit the tight end Pearson, and then you keep hammering outside zone right down Georgia Southern's throat. And that's the game plan. You got to keep that. They got to go for 2 here.
The Eagles were offsides on that 4-yard run by Datrick Harrington, and the Mountaineers are going to go for 2 to make it a touchdown game. Bryce throws. Noel, 31-24 Mountaineers. What a response for the Mountaineers. 4 plays, 75 yards, 1:14 off the clock. Don't go anywhere. This is a battle for bowl eligibility on ESPN+. What a response from App State, going 4 plays, 75 yards, 1:14. And you got to think the Mountaineers were charged after that big hit from Waylon Free to Tyler Page. Well, the Mountaineers answered back in a major way, Cole.
Yeah, you saw the juice come in with that Mountaineer offense after that hit on Page, and they just start clicking. And then the urgency they had on offense, again, you stick with your bread and butter in this game, and that's outside zone. That stretch run has been killing Georgia Southern's defense.
Both teams are playing for bowl eligibility. Feels like a playoff game. Well, we know the teams that will be in the Sun Belt Conference Championship next Saturday. It'll be Coastal Carolina representing the East and Troy representing the West. The Trojans with a win over Arkansas State to secure the West Division. So now Coastal Carolina and Troy will face off with the Sun Belt Conference Championship next week at 3:30 on ESPN. I mean, you see all these back and forth games. It's called the Fun Belt for a reason, Cole.
It's definitely been fun this year, I'll tell you that. Just a lot of great moments.
On first down from the 25, Brown up the middle. Gets a couple of yards. I mean, when we talked to both coaches about the strength of the Sun Belt Conference, they both said that this is one of the premier conferences in all of college football, not just the G5. I mean, Coach Clark said that it's one of the top 5 conferences overall in the NCAA.
I feel like a lot of people sleep on the Sun Belt. It's one of those conferences that it can shock you, it can upset some of the best Power 5 teams out there. And you look at the history a lot of these teams have had this season, you'd be like, yeah, the Sun Belt's for real.
Van Treese throws out to Singleton, gets tackled. And we've seen some big upsets as well. Amari Filial on the tackle, making it 3rd and short. And both these teams had major upsets back in week 2. The Eagles upsetting Nebraska, App State upsetting Texas A&M, almost upset UNC back in week 1. And Van Treese getting under the center. Power I formation. Hand off to Taron Dixon. And Dixon gets the first down. That's his first carry on the night. The Eagles going with the young bucks in the running game.
Good job by Dixon, not seeing it right there. If had he pressed it right there, he might have been tackled, and that hadn't been for a gain. Kept running outside, finally found that little hole where he could outrun the defenders, and then puts his foot in the ground, gets vertical, picks up that first down on the third and short.
Redshirt junior from Pembroke, Georgia, gives the Eagles a first down. From the 39, 5 minutes to go in the third. Pass is caught by Evan Lester. Lowers his shoulder and gets to the 35, rather 45.
You see that Georgia Southern's offense is starting to click a little bit more as the game's going on. They got to do a little bit better on these inside runs. I think that's the big thing. If they want to be a little bit more successful and set up some of these passing plays, they got to be better inside.
Again, a 5, jet sweep to Hood, and Hood will have a first down. We'll see where the officials mark it, and it will be a first down for the Eagles.
Just got to keep moving the chains. That's all you got to do. You look at the replay, see the jet motion right there, and he came across. Hood gets it, gets the first down. Doesn't need to be a spectacular big play, but just enough to move the chains, keep your offense on the field.
Play action on first down. Van Treese, deep shot to the end zone for Joshua Thompson. Is he in? Short, but a big play for the Eagles.
That was a huge play right there to take the top off the defense. Really great ball delivered down the field. I thought he was in. Van Treese is trying to get everybody back on the ball. He's trying to run a play. He doesn't want this defense to catch their breath.
Pulling to Matt Ryan, telling his offense to get set. Inches from the end zone. And on first and goal, Dixon is stopped.
Oh man, great protection up front. One-on-one matchup right there. And he wins his one-on-one.
You know Thompson wants that touchdown. A true freshman making the second catch on the year.
Yeah, man, this has definitely been a year. In these last couple games where true freshmen have played a bigger role in this offense, again, in hindsight, it sucks that your older guys go out, but you get to see what these younger guys can do in high situations like these.
That was Tyler Jordan on the first down run. Now second and goal from the 1. Van Treese finds Lester in the end zone. Touchdown, Eagles. What urgency from the Eagles.
That's what you got to have. This is a game where your season can be canceled at any point once it gets to that 0-0-0 on the clock in the fourth quarter. So these guys are going to lay out. They want to keep the team together for at least another week, and you can see that happening. Plays are being made all over the place. Starting to look like a shootout now.
Alex Rayner on the PAT. We are tied at 31. Under 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. Georgia Southern, an 8-play, 75-yard drive. The big factor was a deep shot from Van Treese to Thompson for 50 yards. And then Van Treese on second down, finding Evan Lester for his first touchdown on the year.
Really good on the RPO action. Lester's out there in the flats, stays on his feet, starting to lose a little balance. I guess he was shot. He was all out there by himself for a second. Really good blocking by the receivers. And then he just dives into the end zone.
That is our first passing touchdown on the night. Van Treese now 23 touchdowns on the year. We haven't seen any from Chase Bryce, who leads the Sun Belt with 27 touchdowns in the air.
One thing, like we said, it's been some big plays that have happened in this play-action game because that outside zone has been so good for App State's offense, so it's only a matter of time before Georgia Southern completely bites on. Those linebackers get sucked up into it, and the next thing you know, it's bombs away down the field.
Van Treese finding his rhythm, 265 yards in the air. We knew it was going to be a battle with bowl eligibility on the line against your rival in the regular season finale. Now, if you're App State, how do you come back out?
You gotta be juiced up and play with your hair on fire. You keep running the ball down Georgia Southern's throat, all right? Keep running the ball outside zone. It's been working so well. They have not found a way to stop it. You keep doing it, and next thing you know, get Chase Bryce going. As soon as those linebackers start to step up more, keep dumping the ball down the field. I haven't seen an answer yet for the post route.
Bryce on first down, gives it to Amani Marshall, and Marshall with nowhere to go. Parker the Vine, along with Kadri Jackson, leading the charge.
Real good stop on the first down right there. Saw the linebackers stepped up in the gaps. Kept going with the flow. Stepped up, made a play. See, that was only not even for a yard.
May have gotten a few inches, but it's 2nd and 10. Quick fire to Robinson. Robinson leaps over a man across the 40. Runs out near the 45.
Great play right there. Really good again. RPO action. Gets the lineman out there in space. Robinson makes a great hurdle and then gets his hand all up in Birdsong's face. Says, yeah, you're not going to tackle me, little man. I'm going to go keep running for a gain.
Gain of 18. Puts the Mountaineers at their own 44. Eagles sending pressure. And up the middle goes Marshall in Eagles territory. You saw that outside blitz from the Eagles defensive back and didn't get there in time.
Well, right now it feels like Georgia Southern's defense is kind of just guessing, and instead of just reacting to what's happening, you saw that outside blitz that happened, and then next thing you know, it just left everybody else open, because usually when you blitz, it's going to put everybody else in man coverage. And if you spread everybody out, it's going to leave the middle of the field open, and then you're just going to start gashing defenses.
Back-to-back 18-yard plays. Marshall again to the outside and tackled inside the 20. Mountaineers back in the red zone. All it took was 4 plays.
That running game has been so good for the Mountaineers so far. I mean, the offensive linemen are doing such a great job in kicking guys out and pulling and getting up to the second level and making good blocks, and that's how these running backs are getting these double-digit yardage gains. Over 300 yards in the running game already.
We're looking for more. From the 19. Marshall. Tackled at the 16. Play was made by Kadri Jackson. And the Mountaineers are going to let the clock run out. And we're going to go to the 4th quarter, tied at 31. A rivalry that is deeper than hate, with bowl eligibility on the line in the regular season finale. We got a great one on hands as we go to the 4th. Who's going to a bowl game and who's going home? We'll find out in the 4th, tied at 31 on ESPN+. What an amazing post-Thanksgiving atmosphere inside Paulson Stadium. Regular season finale, bowl eligibility on the line, and a rivalry that has been described as deeper than hate. The Mountaineers are in the red zone to start the 4th quarter, tied up at 31. It'll be 2nd and 7 from the 16-yard line. Bryce hands off to Marshall. Marshall stays upright, powers his way through. It looks like he will be short of a first down.
That outside zone playing a part. It's going to keep being a thing until there's been a show from that defense to be able to step up and then cause a negative play to happen.
3rd and 1. From the 10, Bryce under center. It'll be a trick play. Bryce is at receiver. It's going to be a handoff to Marshall. He gets the first down. Dragged back at the end by Christian Varner. Well, how about some Wildcat from the Mountaineers there?
Hey, like I said, you got to empty up the playbook. Show everything. At this point, it doesn't matter what you hold back. You want to play another week, you got to throw everything out there. And honestly, I thought it was going to be some Philly special action. I was kind of hoping for that.
Well, nonetheless, it's going to be first and goal from the 8 for App State. Marshall inside the 5, tripped up near the end.
Really good block by the backside tackle, Cooper Hodges. Or excuse me, the play side tackle, Cooper Hodges right here. Really good block. And I think that's what helps get that run going. Open up a lane for the cutback to happen, and then you fight to get those extra yards.
From the 2 on second down, Marshall, touchdown.
Really good run there. Marshall fighting for those extra yards, and that's what you like to see in your running backs, falling forward, diving, making an effort to score. You can tell he was hungry to be in the end zone.
9 plays, 75 yards, overall 450 taken off the clock. PAT is good by Michael Hughes, 38-31, App State. Amani Marshall, 14 carries, over 80 yards, and a touchdown to go along with it. How will the Eagles respond? Find out after the break on ESPN+. Appalachian State leading 38-31. This game is for bowl eligibility. Well, you wonder which bowl either team could go to. Here's a list of the bowl games that are played by Sun Belt Conference teams.
Well, I know 2 places that look like they'll be fun, Myrtle Beach and New Orleans. Look like some fun spots to be in. A little bit warmer, too.
App State trying to seek their 8th straight bowl game. Georgia Southern trying to go to their 5th. As that ball is sent out of play, and the Eagles will have it at the 25. It has been a back-and-forth battle, and overall for App State, the run game has been working, averaging over 9 yards a carry.
When you do that and you're pretty much averaging a first down every time you run the football, I mean, why go away from it?
All 4 of the Mountaineers' touchdowns have been on the ground.
See, App State's doing a great job running it, and I think they're going to keep doing that. I don't see why not. This is up to this Georgia Southern offense to get something moving.
Well, Kyle Van Treese has been getting the job done in the air for the Eagles. With 265 yards, quick pass to Darius Lewis. Lewis with his first reception on the night. That is the 8th different receiver making a catch for the Eagles. So we talked about for the running backs, numerous players are out. The receiving core has been hit pretty bad throughout the year. So next man up on all facets.
I mean, yeah, you can see it. It's kind of similar to what Patrick Mahomes does in the NFL. He has so many different receivers. He loses Tyreek Hill, but he finds ways to get the ball to different players, and it just elevates the passing game.
Van Treese taking a shot deep. Incomplete. No flags. Broken up by Nick Ross, the safety. We talk about targets for Patrick Mahomes, but one of them is an Eagle grad in Jarrett McKinnon.
Yeah, I mean, look, Eagles find ways to get into the NFL. I mean, kudos to them. App State has a lot of guys in the NFL as well. But let's take a closer look at this play here. I can see why they want the flag. I'm a little shocked the officials didn't throw it.
That makes it 3rd and 6 from the 29. Van Treese, incomplete, and there's the flag.
That was the makeup one.
And Sean Clark is furious.
Automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
So Ethan Johnson called for pass interference, and take a look here. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was blatant right there. That was blatant pass interference. I mean, all around him. You can't put your hands up on that one. My coach always said, every time you just put your hands up as a player, you're pretty much in the wrong.
That puts the Eagles at the 38. Van Treese on first down. Quick fire to Singleton. Jeremy Singleton leading the way for the Eagles with 8 catches. Over 100 yards receiving as well.
Now Georgia Southern is going back to their strength, what they've been good at all season, or what they've been doing all season is throwing the ball. They're taking what the defense is giving them, and that's for these receivers to get open quick, and Van Treese is just dumping the ball off.
Gain of 8. Second and 2. Van Treese, plenty of time in the pocket, going deep, intercepted. It's picked off by the Mountaineers. Logan Dublin for big-time interception.
That's a huge interception right there. Van Treese, you can't make errors like that in a game like this, especially the way your defense has struggled stopping the run game. Time is not on your side at this point. So now it's all on Georgia Southern's defensive line and those linebackers to be able to step up and contain the run game. And let's look at the replay here. Let's see what he's looking at. Right here, kind of almost double coverage. Really good playing on the ball. Wow, that was a great play on the ball, but still not enough air on that ball to get it out there to his receiver. And then there you see it's a turnover. You can't have those in a game like this.
Logan Dublin, his second interception on the season, and that's the second turnover for the Eagles. App State will have it at their own 49. Delayed handoff, rather, that's a reverse. That's going to be a tackle at the end. That could be a face mask on Dylan Springer. Deshaun Davis with the end around.
Oh, there's a flag on the turf.
You can see it as Davis was coming down. But rather, that's going to go on App State.
I think it was the holding call that happened, because I feel like on that tackle, the defender had him right on the shoulder. It wasn't really the face mask, had the shoulder. I know it kind of looked like that the way the runner had turned, or Davis had turned right there, but it was a holding call that got Davis out there in the open field for him to get moving. There it is right there. Looks like it was on number 74.
Left tackle Anderson Hardy. So that puts the Mountaineers 10 yards back. It's 1st and 18 from the 41. Bryce scrambles out of pressure. Absorbing contact. And gets across the 45.
I'll tell you one thing, Danny. Credit to Chase Bryce. He's not scared to take a hit, and I like that about a quarterback. When you're not scared to take a hit, you like to deliver a blow instead of taking a blow. I think that says a lot about your character, and honestly, that's kind of like that Josh Allen mentality right there that Chase Bryce has.
Well, Cole, when this is the last game of the season, you're fighting to keep your season alive. You're doing anything that you can. It's a gain of 7 for Bryce. 2nd and 13. Under 11 minutes to play in regulation. Bryce throws to Michael Hetzel. He gets across midfield. It'll bring up 3rd down.
App State not having to run the ball here. They're just throwing the ball out. They know Georgia Southern's defense. They're looking for that outside zone run. So they're taking advantage, taking the guesses away, and they're trying to keep that defense honest out there by throwing it out there to the perimeter, setting up these screens that happen.
Both teams 50% on 3rd downs. We have our first timeout called on the night. Clock stops at 10:05. Or rather, it's going to be an official's timeout. They're going to see where the knee was down at. We apologize for some of the technical difficulties with our referee, Mike, but nonetheless, it's an exciting game in Paulson, Cole.
I mean, look, it's been amazing. There's a hold right there, but that's going to be missed. But let's see if he was down. Yeah, he's down right there. I don't know exactly where they're trying to find the spot at. Looks like they're just trying to figure out exactly where to spot the ball at, if anything. But, Danny, when you talk about an exciting football game against your rival and just being explosive and having fun, you can see that tonight. Oh, he was down when he caught it. Or was it?
The ball is placed.
Here's another angle.
I think they're trying to see if he was down before the catch.
And I think he was down. His knee was down when he made the catch, actually, so he will be down at that spot.
So it's going to be 3rd and 15 for the Mountaineers from the 44.
It's obvious what's going to happen here. So Georgia Southern, they're going to be playing a little bit different in terms of their coverage. They're going to rush those 4. Maybe they might bring a 5th one just to add that pressure. But I'm thinking it may be man defense from here on out. It looks like it is.
3rd and long. 4-man rush. Bryce steps in and throws, and it's going to be incomplete. Deshaun Davis, the intended receiver, that brings up 4th down.
Huge stop after having a turnover. Georgia Southern's defense bailed out their offense. Now Ventrese has to pick it up, has to be able to make the right reads and also throw the ball where only his receivers can catch it and give his offense a chance to get down the field and tie this ball game up.
Right at the very end, the hit by Justin Birdsong getting the ball out. This is the first time App State's had the punt tonight as Clayton Howell gets it off in time. Fair catch is called at the 18. Eagles will have 9 minutes and 24 seconds to answer back and possibly tie this game up. More to come after the break on ESPN+. It has been a fun day for Sun Belt Conference football. Looking at some of the scores, Marshall, a 5-point win over Georgia State. South Alabama, they got the job done over Old Dominion, but with Troy's win over Arkansas State, they win the West. How about James Madison? They can't compete for a Sun Belt championship or a bowl game, but 47-7 over Coastal Carolina, Cole.
I'll tell you what, James Madison practically mollywopped Coastal Carolina. That was a very lopsided game. I understand that Grayson McCall, the guy at Coastal Carolina, isn't available right now, but still, Coastal has to figure something out defensively if they want to play against a really good Troy offense.
From the 18, A.J. Brown stopped on 1st down. As we mentioned, winner goes to a bowl game. Even though App State has 6 wins, 2 of their wins are against FCS teams, so only one of them counts. So they need this win to go to a bowl game.
Exactly, and both of those teams, I think Robert Morris and the Citadel, big shout out to App State for being the Citadel, of course, because it's rivalry week. I want to throw that out there.
Caleb Hood on 2nd down. And more chippiness. And that's what you see in a rivalry. Clock is ticking, though, approaching 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, you don't want to waste time just talking and running your mouth. You need to go ahead and get back on the ball. Like I said, the clock is not on Georgia Southern's side right now.
3rd and 3. From the 25. I don't think Ventrese was ready. He throws anyway. Pass is incomplete. No flag, as Ezra Archie was the intended receiver, and that's going to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, I definitely don't think Ventrese was ready for that. I think Logan Langmeyer, the center, I think he kind of got a little bit too angsty right there. He saw the blitz coming and went ahead and snapped the ball. And right there, it just was a messed up play, and now here you are, 4th down, and you got to get ready to punt it. It would be kind of crazy if they decide to keep it, wouldn't it?
Well, not at this distance.
You would hope not.
Beck has a leg. This could be his last punt in Paulson.
Oh, good bounce.
At the 40 and goes 15, 16. 18 yards on the roll. Anthony Beck, a big punt. But App State has the football of underrate the play when we come back on ESPN+. 52-yard punt from Anthony Beck, playing in his final game in Paulson Stadium. Emily Grace McWhorter got to speak with Beck before the game.
That is right. I got a quick word with Beck, who is always so energetic on the sidelines, let me tell y'all. But I asked what was one word to describe this senior class full of true seniors, 5th years, 6th years, and 7th years. And he immediately said united. That is the one word to describe us. He said it's unbelievable to get to play in an atmosphere like this and all that Georgia Southern has given him. Back to you.
Can this Eagles defense be united? As the Mountaineers start from the 23, Nate Noel on first down. They have lost the yard. It's Kerryon Smith at the end for the Eagles.
Really good job by Kerryon Smith, the defensive lineman. Beat that block, got in and made that tackle, kept it for short yards. If anything, didn't gain any on that run.
No gain, second down. Noel again. That's his 7th carry.
As it's starting to show itself more and more on these outside runs, the reason why these yards are starting to pick up a little bit more, not just because of the blocking on the front side of it, it's what's going on the back side of it. Really good cut blocks are happening, knocking down these defensive linemen, and that's what creates those lanes for those running backs to make that cut.
Under 7 minutes left, 3rd and 7 for the Mountaineers. Play clock at 5. Bryce throws far side to Robinson, incomplete. How about the 3 and out from the Eagles, Cole?
Huge stop by that defense. I don't know why App State didn't just lean a little bit more on their run game right there. They probably should have, but still, really good job by that Eagle defense. You can see the incompletion ball did hit that turf. Now it's all on Van Treese, number 0. Can he put something together?
So the Mountaineers have not punted until the 4th quarter. It's the second time Clayton Howell has made his way on the field. Caleb Hood back to receive, almost blocked by the Eagles. The fair catch is called by Hood at the 31. 6:24 left to go. Can Van Treese lead the Eagles downfield? We'll find out after the break on ESPN+. Mountaineer fans and Eagle fans toughing it out in the rainy conditions in Statesboro, Georgia. App State leads 38-31, 6:24 to go with bowl eligibility on the line. Can Kyle Van Treese, nicknamed the Ginger General, lead the Eagles downfield one more time? The Eagles start from their own 31. First play is a throw to Caleb Hood. Hood trying to juke his way out. Flag is down. Was tackled at the 45.
Personal foul, illegal hands to the face. Defense number 43. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Illegal hands to the face on the Mountaineers. Hansky Palant, defensive end.
Still really good play right here. So everybody bit on the run motion right there. Everybody thought it was going to be a run. There you see Caleb Hood. The slant is open. Van Treese delivers it to him, fights for those extra yards, and probably the 2nd and 1 if not for that personal foul.
In Mountaineer territory at the 40. Approaching 6 minutes to go. Van Treese throws out to Hood. Has space. Gets the first down. Burst of speed. Down the sideline he goes and steps out and puts the Eagles in the red zone.
Looks like there was some confusion going on that defense because Caleb Hood was just by himself out there. No one around him, and he easily gets the first down, makes a guy miss a tackle. and then gets out right about the 13 maybe.
26-yard gain. First down from the 14. Van Treese goes to Singleton inside the 10, and that's where he will be stopped. Singleton and Hood have been the top two receivers for the Eagles tonight, as Singleton records his 9th catch.
Right now, they're winning on their routes. That's the big thing. They're winning on these routes, beating them in man coverage. If it's zone, they're finding the weak spots in these zones. They're getting open, and they're making plays. And that's how Georgia Southern has gotten down here, plus that penalty.
5 minutes to go. Brown inside. Still going, taken down at the 3. That gives the Eagles a first down. A.J. Brown, his 13th carry, 58 yards.
A.J. Brown's out here bumbling and stumbling for those extra yards.
First and goal from the 3. The Eagles trying to tie it up. Brown. No, Van Treese keeps. Touchdown, Eagles.
Coach Ellis said, Van Treese, can you do something for me? Can you get the ball in the end zone for me? And that's exactly what Van Treese does. Little Rich Flex reference right there. And you see that happens. Van Treese putting the game on his back, broad shoulders, gets into the end zone. That's how you make a big boy play and get ready to put yourself in a position for your team to tie up the game.
5 plays, 69 yards, 2 minutes off the clock. And the officials are going to review the touchdown. It's a great quarterback keep from Van Treese here.
Oh yeah, really beautiful in the read option.
Well, his knee, see where Van Treese's knee is.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Call will stand. And Kyle Van Treese, his 3rd rushing touchdown on the season, is a big one in the 4th quarter. And Alex Rayner tie it up. We are tied at 38 with 4:22 to go. Both of these teams are no strangers to late game heroics. We've seen it throughout the season on both sides, Cole.
That we have, Danny. I mean, you look at App State, they've had a lot of moments where things didn't look great, but they've always found a way because they leaned on number 7, Chase Bryce. He's used to being in these situations, and we look at what happened against Troy earlier this season. Things didn't look good on the Hail Mary, but Horn makes a play on it, and they score. They win that game. And then you look at the Eagles, they found ways to win against James Madison. Things didn't look great there, but they kept fighting. They kept trying to make plays, and that's what they did. They found ways into the end zone. This is going to come down to who wants it more, who can dig out, who can dig deeper, and find that inner resolve to continue their season.
One highlight you didn't see back in week 2 when Georgia Southern was in Lincoln, Nebraska, Kyle Van Treese scored the game-winning touchdown. And a game-tying touchdown in the final week of the season against App State to tie it up.
Really sets the mood for the game, doesn't it? For what's to come and finish.
Keep in mind, both teams have all 3 of their timeouts. We haven't seen a timeout called from either side throughout the night. That could change with 4:22 to go.
I like it because you don't know when you're going to need those timeouts, and it could be on this drive, it could be on the next drive. It just all depends on what happens, and if Georgia Southern's defense can bow their necks and get another stop, or if App State can start getting back to what they were doing earlier in this game, or really what they were doing most of the game is running the ball down Georgia Southern's throat with that outside zone.
6-year quarterback Chase Bryce, just 168 yards passing. But the Mountaineers with 331 yards on the ground. They start from the 25. Bryce rolling right, finds Pearson. And Pearson gets across the 30.
Great boot action right there to find Pearson out there in space. He was open, dumped it out to him. Looking on a 2nd and short.
Inside 4 minutes to go. Second and 3. Noel the carry. He gets met by Marquez Watson Trent in the back.
There you go. You got to be juiced up. You got to find ways to make plays. Georgia Southern stepping up big right there in the run.
Big third down. 3rd and 3. Bryce flips it out to Noel. Has a first down and then some. Noel across midfield. Taken down to 35. And it's those small play action rollouts that's been saving the Mountaineers, Cole.
That it has, and looks like Noel is shaking up. His helmet comes off. Looks like he's hurting, but still, I mean, beautiful play call. Going to boot play. Wide open. You can't leave Noel out there in space. He's that shifty, elusive back. You look at it. The Bulls are on a parade. Wide open Noel. No one's nearby. There's a lot of green grass. So you can see there's busted coverage there. If anything, Georgia Southern probably should have played man defense on that. That way at least have somebody out there to check them.
Junior at the end was tackled by Derek Canteen. I mean, Noel has been a driving force for the Mountaineers running game. You see the numbers, just 8 carries. But also making some catches. That was his 2nd reception.
I mean, he's been a do-it-all kind of back. I mean, he's been able to have a tremendous game, not only in the ground, but also, like you said, in the air as well. He's been playing great. They get him back on his feet. Would expect to see the young man back in soon.
Real quick, was that a Rage Against the Machine reference? Bulls on parade?
Bulls on parade. I'm not going to lie to you, Danny. That might be a little bit too old for me. You
Well,
got to keep in mind.
I don't know if you intended to make that reference, but I got it.
I mean, I wasn't going to say elephants on parade. I mean,
Bulls on parade.
I mean,
that's a song. It's a record.
Yeah, they're considered the Bulls by their offensive, by their head coach. So,
right.
Why not?
Well, nonetheless, that was a 33-yard completion from Chase Bryce to Nate Noel. That puts the Mountaineers at the Eagles 35, 2:55 to play and counting.
See that rushing total continue to rise. Don't be shocked if you continue to see App State hand this ball off.
Bryce on first down, gives it inside the 30. That was Amani Marshall on the carry. Gain of 6.
And right now, as you can see, Georgia Southern has not found an answer to the outside zone. It's been the one thing that's been killing them this whole game. App State hasn't really ran a lot on the inside zone aspect of it, or a lot of inside runs, but everything's been on the outside, capturing the edge and finding some cutback lanes for the running back to hit.
2 minutes to go, tied up at 38. From the 28 on second down, Marshall. Does he have enough for a first? Let's see where the officials mark it. They will mark it short. Third down, and now we see our first timeout called in the game, and it's from the Eagles.
Yeah, this is an obvious timeout here. I mean, when you're running the ball, that clock is not your friend, and as it's been the whole time on this drive by App State, they've done a great job running the ball, getting these first downs, milking the clock out to set themselves up for what may be a game-winning field goal.
That's the big thing, Cole. The Mountaineers are in field goal range, but Michael Hughes is 1 for 2 between 40 and 49 yards this year. Hughes has hit a 22-yarder, 37-yarder, and a 24-yarder. It'll be 3rd and 1 out of the Eagles' timeout.
The Eagles still do have 2 timeouts. We got to keep that in mind as well.
3rd and short. Marshall won't get there. Carrion Smith bringing him back.
That was a huge stop by that Georgia Southern defense right there, finding the penetration. We haven't seen that all game by that defense, but way to step up big and make a tackle.
A quick timeout called by the Eagles with 1:41 left to go. Take a look again.
Way to beat it. Way to beat the blocks. Works the rip. Finds a way to kind of just sit in there, makes a play on that in the gap.
That is all man by the redshirt junior Carrion Smith at 325 pounds, making a big 3rd down stop.
Good.
It is 4th and 1, and this would be a 43-yard field goal try for Michael Hughes.
Good grief, that's a lot of beef up there. And again, really good job by working that rip technique, beating that double team blocker, beating the reach, and making a play back there to make that tackle. So right now, you got to put the pressure a little bit on that kicker. If they do decide to go and kick it, put the pressure on him. You got to go chase a block.
The Eagles have 1 timeout left. App State has all 3. And the Mountaineers are going to go for it on 4th down.
I love the decision here. I mean, scary money don't make money. They're talking about extending your season, but they got to get the first down here. I'm curious to see what they're going to run. Looks like they're primed up for stretch.
The Eagles are going to use their final timeout. Do you like the move there, Cole?
I understand you're a little bit kind of hesitant. You want to call that timeout because you want to put your defense in a good position to get a stop here and have a turnover on downs. But let's just say App State, they didn't call the timeout. App State did get the first down here, right? If they decide to run the clock out, yeah, you got that 1 timeout. They'll probably call it because they're going to try to milk the clock out. Then you can try to ice the kicker. Got to tell your guys you got to go block a kick. So, I mean, that's just the hypotheticals. I'm more of a go with the hypotheticals than call a timeout here. You just never know where you might need that last timeout in this last minute and 44 seconds.
The Mountaineers offense still out there, so they will go for it on 4th and 1. They have over a 50% completion rate on 4th downs this year. From the 26. Handoff. Marshall. Did he get it? No!
Wow.
Big turnover on downs. The officials are still talking it over. They may review it.
This does stand, and it is a turnover on downs. That is huge for Georgia Southern's offense. Let's look at the replay here. So it looks like it's going to be an inside run anyway.
Anthony Wilson was the first man there for the Eagles.
And honestly, that's what you like to see. You like to see guys be able to beat blocks. Again, Georgia Southern didn't do a great job of that earlier in the game, but they're starting to pick it up late. We'll see where they're measured. Short.
He's short. The Eagles with a big stop. Will Harris, defensive coordinator, loving it.
Hey, first time defensive coordinator, you get a big stop like that in a game that determines whether your season continues or not. That is a huge moment for the young man. Really big stop for that defense. Now it's on App State's defense to do the same to Georgia Southern's offense.
A gutsy decision from the Mountaineers to go for it rather than go for a field goal.
Definitely was gutsy. A lot of people are going to say, well, now it was a stupid decision. You should have took your points, have your defense play. But at the same time, had it worked out, they would have said it was the best decision ever.
Either way, the Eagles would have gotten the football back. And now, Georgia Southern will have 1:40 to go downfield to either set up Alex Rayner for a game-winning field goal or to go for it all.
This is the moment you get excited for, Danny.
I mean, there's not much to say, Cole. Against your rival, last game of the year, winner goes to a bowl game. This is amazing.
I'll be like this, and look, I didn't go to either one of these universities, but there's no better feeling than ending someone's season. That is the best feeling ever, to end somebody's season. Both of these teams have a chance to do that in this last minute and 40 seconds.
The officials, I believe, did review the play, and it is a 4th down stop for the Eagles defense. So now Kyle Van Treese in what could be the final drive of the regular season. 328 yards passing. Starts from the 26. Fans chanting one more time. Van Treese flips it out to A.J. Brown. Hurdles over a man and down to the 28. And remember, the Eagles don't have any timeouts.
That they don't. So App State is really somewhat in control at the moment because they still had all three.
Under 90 seconds to go. Van Treese on 2nd down. Deep shot for Singleton. Incomplete. Threw it in double coverage.
I did not like that decision by Van Treese. He has had a habit of doing that all season, throwing it when there's double or triple coverage. I think you still got to be able to survey the field.
So it brings up 3rd and 7. The Eagles 5 for 11 on 3rd downs. .116 to go. Tied up at 38. Play clock at 8. Van Treese throws across the middle and is caught by Singleton for a 1st down.
Offense has to hurry up. They got to get set. Clock is still not on your side. Get set, get ready to roll for the next play.
And the Eagles are set from the 42. Incomplete on 1st down, looking for Singleton. Broken up by Keyshawn Brown.
Van Treese a little bit too quick to pull the trigger there. Had more than enough time to just hold on to the ball for a little bit longer. His offensive line has been great so far tonight. Just hold the ball, survey it a little bit more, let the receivers develop on their routes. Find an open guy, deliver the ball.
Clock stops at 1:06. Van Treese on 2nd down. Plenty of time in the pocket. Rolling right. Flag is out. Hood made the catch. And he was in, but a flag is down.
Holding. Offense number 66. 10-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
A holding call on the Eagles offense. Going to put him 10 yards back.
That you don't want to happen, but Danny, I want you to think about this. Best case scenario, if they get the clock moving, App State still has all 3 of their timeouts. If they find ways to just keep the clock in play here, they could just drain the clock long enough to where it may be a punt, and then this game could get forced into overtime.
2nd down and 20 from the Eagles' 32. Van Treese, pressure coming, lets it fly, out of bounds. Going to bring up 3rd and incredibly long.
Three-man rush on that last play, and really good on the twist game, and that's what freed up one of the defenders to start getting Van Treese's face. The right tackle, Caleb Kelly, lost on that rep. Honestly, lost both back-to-back reps in pass protection.
3rd and 20. The Eagles 50% on 3rd down tonight. Van Treese throws. Incomplete. 4th down. And if you're the Eagles, you likely want to send Beck out to send this ball deep.
100%. Now it's back on your defense. They got to play discipline. They got to be great in defending against the pass, because you notice exactly what App State and Chase Price are going to be looking to do is throw the ball, get the ball out there, find the soft spots in these zones. You've got to be disciplined if you're Georgia Southern.
Caden Robinson, deep to return. Fair catch is called, and the Mountaineers will have 41 seconds. We saw the highlight of Chase Bryce's Hail Mary back against Troy. The ball bobbled around, and Christian Horn came up with it for a game-winning touchdown. And the Mountaineers have that same magic tonight in the regular season finale. Or at least put Michael Hughes in great field goal range. Something to keep in mind, Hughes is 0 for 1 on field goals tries 50 yards or longer. And as we said before, 1 for 2 between 40 and 49 yards.
Oh, yeah, you can see it already. Georgia Southern are going to have to play. Looks like they're going to bring that safety down, maybe in quarters coverage.
From the Mountaineers 28. Bryce, pump fakes, gets out of traffic, was looking for Noel, incomplete. And keep in mind, App State has all 3 of their timeouts too.
All App State is, they're one explosive play away from putting themselves in a good position with those timeouts to be able to use at least one of them. At this point, you got to hit the playbook. Whatever you've been holding, at the very end of it, you got to bring it out.
35 seconds left. Handoff to Noel. Following his blockers. Gets out to the 40. And the Mountaineers calling the quick timeout, their first.
Smart decision by the Mountaineers to go ahead and just run the football here. You know you got all 3 of your timeouts. You can afford to burn one here. You get the first down out of that run, so you win on that play. And here you are getting close to midfield. If you can find another way to get a first down in these 28 seconds, dial up the right play call, you could put yourself in a position to give your kicker a shot to win the game.
App State has 352 yards on the ground, and Nate Noel has 145 of them on just 9 carries tonight. He has really stepped up as RB1 in the absence of Cameron Peoples.
Well, it's been special all night tonight, and I know they're going to be looking to get him the ball. That's the #1 playmaker in this game.
28 seconds to go. Tied up at 38. From the Mountaineers 40. Bryce. Throwing deep, caught! Down the sideline, Christian Horn! And puts the Mountaineers in the red zone. Wow.
That was the explosive play that App State needed. Chase Bryce making something happen. Huge explosive play there. Puts them in a great position to not only one, possibly score a touchdown, but get the game-winning field goal if Georgia Southern's defense can hold.
45-yard pass puts the Mountaineers at the 15. 19 seconds. Bryce handoff to Noel. The Mountaineers will call a timeout. Time's still going, rather. They're going to let it go out a little bit. The timeout is called with 2 seconds left. The Mountaineers looking to end it with Michael Hughes.
This is going to be huge right here. Michael Hughes is going to have to make this kick to put away Georgia Southern to end this season. Both of these teams have played well at times throughout the year. Of course, they'd rather be playing for a conference championship next week. However, there's been a lot of great moments for both of these teams, and I think that's something that they can both take to the bank. Regardless of what happens here tonight, it's been a great year for both of these teams.
Referees will add a second on the clock, so 3 seconds for Michael Hughes. He is 3 for 3 on field goals tonight. Hit one from 22, 37, and 24. This one from 29 for the win. Hughes. No good. He missed it. We're going to overtime.
Wow.
Speechless.
Kickers, huh?
No words.
It's kickers. As my good friend Eric McLean once said, kickers. But still, it's been a crazy game. It's been so exciting to watch both of these teams play. And here we are, overtime. I think there's no better way to see both of these teams play right now than have them have an overtime game to decide who gets to, or have these overtime periods to see what happens. This is going to be a fun one.
We're going to overtime after the break, tied up at 38 between the Eagles and the Mountaineers. Bowl eligibility is on the line. Overtime in Paulson Stadium with your season on the line. Tied up at 38 between App State and Georgia Southern. This will be the third game that these two teams will play against each other in overtime. The last time, November 6, 2010, when both teams were in the FCS and App State was the #1 team in the FCS, but the Eagles would win 21-14 here at Paulson.
It feels like an old school SoCon conference championship game.
App State won the toss, was going to play defense first, so we'll see Georgia Southern's offense on the field. After Kyle Van Treese led it way down and tied it up with a touchdown on his own. You couldn't ask for it any other way, Cole.
No, you definitely couldn't. This is the perfect way for this game to go. Deciding who continues to play and how, just everything else outside of that. It has been just such a great show of just not only offense, but grit. I mean, App State has just ran the ball so well on offense. They found ways to make some stops, and then Georgia Southern doing what they've been doing best all year, throwing the football. It's just an exciting time. As you can see, the overtime rules pulled up. It's going to be an interesting time if both of these two teams find ways to score.
And they made some tweaks to the overtime rules as well, with teams going for 2-point conversions starting in the second overtime. So the Eagles will start from the 25. First down, Van Treese throws to Hood. And a big-time catch. Wasting no time. A 12-yard pass from Van Treese to Hood. From the 12. Van Trees to the end zone. No! Flag on the play, though.
Really good here. I mean, Van Trees with the pump action right here.
Pass interference. Defense number 6.
Trying to be
Automatic
able to make
first
a
down.
catch. Hit him in the
That's
hands,
fine.
but really good job by the defensive back getting his hand in there to disrupt the pass and force the incompletion, but still a big penalty here. And that extends the drive.
Pass interference on Stephen Jones for App State. That puts the Eagles at the 3. Van Trees to Brown, he tripped. Second and goal. Ball placed at the 4. Play action. Van Trees to McAfee. Touchdown!
What a first drive in overtime right there by the Eagles. Get the ball moving really good by Van Trees, getting the ball out there in the air. And now it's on App State and Chase Bryce. What can you show for you to score 6 points and then an extra point?
PAT is good by Alex Rayner, 45-38. And now the Eagles defense needs a stop. It's all on App State now. Second touchdown pass for Kyle Van Trees, 360 yards on the night. Finds J.J. McAfee for his 3rd touchdown on the season.
Been an incredible output of offense. This is just getting a lot more exciting as the game continues to go. I mean, 45-38, I would have not expected the score to get anywhere near this high, just the way both of these teams play. But here we are, Chase Bryce with a chance to go out here, tie the game up, or if they decide to go for the go-ahead knockout punch, they could do that, but first they got to make it to the end zone. I'm willing to bet outside zone will probably be a key factor of that.
Mountaineers will start from the 25. Bryce to Noel on first down. Has a hole! Nate Noel! Touchdown! All it took was one play for the Mountaineers.
Outside zone, that's been killing the Eagles all game, and you see it right there. Big hole opened up. And all it was is just green grass. Noel made a guy miss, ran through a tackle, and here we are with a chance to tie the game up.
It's all on Michael Hughes on the PAT. Got it. And we go to double overtime. Chase Bryce finding Nate Noel, 173 yards and 3 touchdowns on just 11 carries.
Man. Nate Noel, I mean, boy, oh boy.
The sophomore from the 305.
Miami, Florida, stand up. You're getting represented tonight.
And now we go to the other side of the field for double overtime.
App State had their offense back out there. Now they got to find another way. More than likely, I wouldn't be surprised we see outside zone again, but they could go ahead and do a play action off of it and have a guy just uncovered that finds a way into the end zone. It's a chess match at this point.
And remember, we saw the rules that teams have to go for 2. So you see, second rule, you must go for a 2-point conversion after a touchdown. It used to be starting in the third overtime, but now starting in the second. I think they changed that after what we saw with LSU and Texas A&M a few years ago.
I remember watching that game. I was still playing 2018, coming off a conference championship. Great times.
The Mountaineers will stay out on offense. Hand off to Datrick Harrington, and Harrington with nowhere to go. Justin Ellis playing in his final game in Paulson on the tackle for loss.
Great job by the defensive line coming alive right there, beating those blocks, coming in and making the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Now it's looking like it's going to be 2nd and 12 or 2nd and 11.
It will be 2nd and 12 after a loss of 2. Bryce will throw to Harrington. He can't hang on, but a late hit by Derek Canteen going to bring out the flags.
Go ahead, mistake, but I feel like Canteen was already coming in on hot on a missile, and he just couldn't pull up in time, but still.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit, defense number 13. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Will put the Mountaineers half the distance to the end zone.
Oh, no, he definitely didn't have to do that. That was just uncalled for.
You can't make a statement like that in overtime with the game on the line.
That was more one of those, you're just kind of getting a little bit too big in your britches right there. He didn't have to do that. It was just unnecessary.
Right.
Even
Last game of the season, you got to keep your emotions in check. That puts the Mountaineers at the 14. First and 10. Harrington stopped again. Watson, Trent, Wilson, and Dylan Springer on the charge.
So far, Georgia Southern doing a lot better playing against the outside zone than they did in the first overtime. But now it's just a matter of, are they going to bite? If Chase Bryce ends up pulling it, he throws that play action pass.
It's a loss of 1. Bryce on second down, rolling right. Throws to the end zone. Incomplete. Looking for Robinson. Canteen on the stop.
Told you, there goes that play action pass, really more of a boot. But it looks like Georgia Southern was ready for a Canteen coming in. Oh, he could have probably had an interception. The ball was kind of right in between his arm and the defender's arm.
3rd and 12. Play clock at 5. Tied at 45. Bryce throws to Pearson. Ball came out at the end. Incomplete.
Rolling on the field is an incomplete pass. 4th down.
It's a huge stop by that Eagles defense, forcing the field goal. You see guys just not giving up. Free came in there and then juggled the ball, got the ball knocked free.
Field goal unit out. 32-yarder for Michael Hughes. Missed the game winner in regulation. Can he knock this one down in double overtime? This time connects. 48-45. App State. Now it's all on the Eagles.
That it is. What can Brian Ellis and Kyle Van Treese dial up? What's in the playbook that they haven't used yet, that they can use right now to win this football game?
Hughes missed the 30-yarder in regulation, but knocks down the 33-yarder in double OT. But now it's up to Kyle Van Treese.
Well, the big thing is for the Eagles, whatever they do, they got to protect the football. Can't have any turnovers right here in overtime.
From the 25 on first down. Van Treese to the end zone, incomplete. Was looking for McAfee.
Saw that pressure came in late. The defender got around Van Treese's leg. Van Treese really couldn't step through on that pass and deliver it gracefully because he had his receiver wide open.
It was a good look. Just too far for McAfee. Second down. Plenty of time for Van Treese. Going to the end zone. It's caught! Touchdown! Archie! Georgia Southern, double overtime, 51-48, and the Eagles are going bowling.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Emily Grace is standing by with Coach Clay Helton.
Coach, you said that you wanted to give these seniors a bowl win, a top 25 win, and a Power 5 win, and you did that. How much has this season meant to you?
Glory to God and a bunch of great kids. Is college football not the best thing on earth?
It is.
It's the most awesome environment ever. So proud of our kids. So proud to get this win and get to go bowling.
This group of seniors has meant so much to you. What can you say about their contributions to this Eagles football team?
Well, I tell you what, this group has built our culture, and this group deserves this win tonight.
Thanks, Coach. Go enjoy it.
Thank you.
What a season finale from Paulson Stadium. 51-48 over your rival in double OT to go to a bowl game. Kyle Van Treese, 25 yards to Ezra Archie. That's Archie's first touchdown of the year, and it sends the Eagles bowling.
That's one heck of a way to get your first touchdown, I'll tell you that. But man, when you look at it, there was a lapse in the coverage. Archie was wide open in the back. He was making all those plays in the beginning of the game, and Van Treese finds him just wide open in the end zone. What a touchdown.
And just like that, the Mountaineers' season is over. Kyle Van Treese, 385 yards, 34 for 51, 3 touchdowns on the night, showing poise on senior night.
I mean, Danny, just incredible. I mean, talk about it. Georgia Southern drops 3 games this month. They win the game that mattered most against App State, who started to get momentum throughout the month, having some big wins. And then right here, you just pretty much go for the dagger, go for the kill shot on a pass for the touchdown. As we get ready to look at that